Fox Sports.
We are Blackmore. We are Wisconsin.
Oh, the tailgating is epic tonight. Beautiful Friday night for baseball. It is the Cubs and the Brewers. Game 2 of this 4-game series. And this series sponsorship is presented by Toyota. Got the roof open, clear skies up above. Brewers coming off a loss last night. They're trying to get back to winning ways here this evening. Hi, everybody. Brian Anderson along with Bill Schroeder. Sophia Minnaert, our reporter tonight. It's been a very busy couple of days for the Milwaukee Brewers and more trading today. The trade deadline was 3 p.m. Central, and the Brewers were not quiet by any stretch, trading Jonathan Broxton and Gerardo Parra, getting prospects back from the Cardinals and the Baltimore Orioles. And Rock, I think it's probably time now to start talking about the guys in the middle. Not the guys traded away, not the prospects that are coming, but the guys that the door is now open for that are going to get some playing time with the Brewers now.
Yeah, opportunities for 3 guys in particular. There's opportunities for a lot more than that, but I think when you look at what the Brewers have got for the next couple of months of the season, they still want to win ball games, but with 2 main cogs in the outfield being traded with Parra and Gomez, Chris Davis has a great opportunity to get that everyday job back in left field. He was platooning, wasn't playing a whole lot with Gerardo Parra around. Shane Peterson wants to make his mark. He wants to prove to the Brewers that he belongs next year. He's certainly done very well in limited opportunities, but now he might get to play a little bit more. He's in center field tonight, and Logan Schaefer, I think this is about the biggest 2 months of his career. The Brewers have been waiting for him for a couple of years, has not been able to take advantage of it. Look for Logan Schaefer coming up from the minor leagues to get a lot more playing time. This could be make or break time for Logan Schaefer with the Brewers.
Yeah, I agree with you. Let's bring in Sophia Minnaert now. She has had a chance to catch up with a lot of different parties down in that Brewers clubhouse and dugout. And Sophia, how about the manager? Where does he stand right now? Craig Counsell.
Well, I think for Doug Melvin and for Craig Counsell right now, the word is opportunity. With 5 veteran players leaving the team over the course of the trade deadline, it's now a matter of who will step up. So they recall some familiar faces from the minor leagues. You go through some of the moves. Logan Schaefer, Elian Herrera, Tyler Thornburg, all rejoining the big league club from AAA Colorado Springs. And the Brewers also do add reliever Preston Guillemette, claimed off of waivers from the Dodgers today. So he sneaks in. He's added to the 25-man roster as well. And for Craig Counsell, while it may look like a very different team, the familiar faces, they're looking for some big contributions from these guys the rest of the way.
No, it's not an entirely different squad. We lost 5 guys. It's not an entirely different squad. We lost some good players. There's no question, and we didn't. And we haven't. We didn't acquire major league players back, but this is our team. This is the Brewers right now, and so we'll go out and these guys will compete every night.
General Manager Doug Melvin will join Brian and Bill in the booth in the second inning, so you'll get his thoughts on the trade deadline and how the Brewers move forward now over the next 2 months. But Taylor Youngman is one of the key pieces that the Brewers will look at over the next 2 months. He's looking to continue his run of rookie success.
Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. And by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers. It's Miller time. We are just about ready for tonight's first pitch. Friday night, the Brewers in their retro Friday gear, and Taylor Youngman is on the mound pitching for the first time against the Chicago Cubs. Jason Hamill, who slots number 3 in this Chicago Cubs rotation, the big 3, if you will, John Lester, Jake Arrieta, and Jason Hamill. Good matchup coming. Lineups, first pitch on the way. Brewers Cubs tonight at Miller Park. Taylor Youngman leading the Brewers out onto the field at Miller Park on a beautiful Friday night. And this Brewers broadcast tonight on Fox Sports Wisconsin is presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Well, just a gorgeous night for baseball. 83 degrees here in Milwaukee as the sun sets. Brian Anderson, Bill Schroeder, Sophia Minard with you. We're glad to have you with us. Tonight's game being produced by Brent Reeland, directed by Mark Vittorio. Potawatomi Cubs batting order turned in by Joe Madden, Dexter Fowler, Kyle Schwarber, and Chris Coughlin lead off. And in the middle of the order, you got Anthony Rizzo, hit the big 3-run homer last night. Chris Bryant's back in after a night off last night. Jorge Soler in right field. And then the bottom 3 for Madden is Starlin Castro, Jason Hamill, the pitcher, batting 8th. Addison Russell will hit 9th. And there is Taylor Youngman, his first matchup ever against division rival Chicago.
Yeah, pitching as well as you would expect. Taylor Youngman, I mean, coming up in the minor leagues. Big numbers down in AAA, but boy, has he been good. At 214 earned run average in 9 starts. He broke a 4-game winning streak his last time out, and a loss against the Diamondbacks was a 2-0 loss. Gave up 2 runs in the first inning, but that was it. 5 scoreless after that. He's been very good here at Miller Park in 3 starts.
He's been a big hit here in the big leagues, a former first rounder by the Brewers back in 2011. And back at home, Taylor Youngman ready to face Dexter Fowler, and the first pitch is in there for a strike, and away we go. That's Hunter Wendelstedt calling the balls and strikes tonight. He is also the crew chief. Marvin Hudson, Pat Hoberg, and David Rackley, the base umpires, as Youngman misses outside. There's the crew chief, coming over from first base last night to the plate tonight. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fowler fouls it away. We're going to have plenty of trade discussion. We'll start to get into a number of the players the Brewers acquired, even though we're probably not going to see many of those players, if any, this year. Doug Melvin is going to join us again today, president of baseball operations and general manager, and we'll be able to pick his brain on those that are coming. But as we mentioned in the open, you've got the big pieces that are gone, the minor league pieces that the Brewers have acquired, and really the guys who settle into the focus at the big league level are guys like this: Chris Davis and Shane Peterson and Logan Schaefer, and it'll be fun to watch them, see if they can take advantage of this opportunity in the big leagues.
Yeah, opportunity time is right. I mean, Elian Herrera back from the minor league. Logan Schaefer not getting the start tonight, but he's here. I figure he's going to split time out in center field with Peterson, auditioning for 2016.
Yeah, they're all here. Schaefer came with Herrera. He said they both got on the earliest flight possible. They flew together from New Orleans, and neither one of them slept much last night. For Elian Herrera, what a terrific comeback story for him. He is very well liked, very popular character in that Brewers clubhouse. He was designated for assignment on June 2nd. And put back on the roster. There's a called strike 3, and a good way to start the night for Taylor Youngman. He strikes out Dexter Fowler to start the game.
Well, we saw Jimmy Nelson in last night's ball game use that inside corner very effectively, and that one leaked over to the heart of the plate. Not sure what Dexter Fowler was looking for. That had plenty of home plate, and Hunter Wendelstedt rings it up. Cubs strike out quite a bit. They strike out a lot, walk a lot. Have had a difficult time scoring runs this year.
Well, that was a great example of Jonathan Lucroy making a borderline strike look great to the home plate umpire. Excellent framer of pitches that he is. And Lucroy would be the first to tell you that's a lot easier to do when you have a guy like Youngman on the mound who has great command, throws it in the general area where you're looking for it.
Yeah, you can't frame pitches when you're jumping all over the place trying to catch pitches that are supposed to be inside that are away. And a lot of times, though, when you have movement like Youngman just had on that pitch to Fowler, it becomes difficult to frame too when you have that good late movement. Youngman has it. Jimmy Nelson has it. Willie Peralta.
Youngman facing Kyle Schwarber, who has burst onto the scene here in the big leagues. Made his major league debut about 6 weeks ago. It was June 16th. He has a .986 OPS in 20 major league games. Got a .344 batting average, on base nearly .430, and a slugging percentage over .550.
Man, not bad. And he started in left field last night. He's a catcher that can play left. Left-handed hitter, a catcher that hits second. Both teams have catchers hitting the second spot tonight.
He's a little bit of an unorthodox two-hole hitter in his look. I mean, he looks like a power hitter, but I think Madden, much like Craig Counsell, likes him in that two spot because of the contact ability, the fact that he'll use the opposite field to the outfield. Brewers do have a shift on young Schwarber, and he launches that one a mile high right up the pipe, and Shane Peterson is there to make the play for out number 2.
Hey, let's check out the Brewers Menards defense tonight. We talked about opportunities. 2 of them getting an opportunity out there tonight. You got Davis, who looks to play a lot of left field. You know, now that Gerardo Parra has been traded, Davis in left, Peterson, probably he and Logan Schaefer in center the rest of the way. Elian Herrera getting an opportunity at third base. He and Hernan Perez will probably share the duties over at third base.
Well, Shane Peterson making his first career start in the big leagues in center field. He started at first base for the first time with the Brewers on the last road trip. That's a rare combo, first base / center field. 2 outs. Coughlin on the ground. Look at Scooter Gennett. What a heck of a play that was. And the Brewers playing crisply in this first inning. Good inning for Youngman. 1, 2, 3. Go the Cubs. hanging out up there in Bernie Chalet. We're underway here at Miller Park. Craig Counsell and the Brewers facing the Cubs, night 2 of this 4-game series. And Craig Counsell has got a little bit different look with his roster here tonight. He is happy and very pleased that all of the players called up have arrived and are ready to go tonight. So a full roster for Craig Counsell. The Potawatomi batting order: Scooter Gennett will lead off, Jonathan Lucroy, then Ryan Braun, and then the middle is Lynn, Davis, and Peterson. Segura, Herrera, and Youngman will round out the starting 9 for Craig Counsell.
Well, Jason Hamill making start number 20. He's got a .320 earned run average, but he's only 5-5. He's had a number of no decisions so far this year. Has been very good against Milwaukee in his career. This is his 9th start. He's 6-0 with a .225 earned run average against the Crew.
A strike to Gennett. Scooter in that leadoff spot, and this is the first time this season he is very comfortable as a leadoff hitter. He's done it throughout his career, his amateur career and his professional career in the minor leagues. This is probably the most comfortable spot for him personally to hit. So he has no problems hitting leadoff for the Brewers. 28 games in his career as a leadoff hitter. He's actually swung the bat well as a leadoff hitter throughout his big league career. He's hitting .330 in those 28 games as a leadoff batter, and an on-base percentage of .358.
And 9th different batter for the Brewers to hit leadoff this year. That's a lot. Scooter with an opportunity to get in that leadoff spot. Maybe Craig Counsell thinking about using him against lefties. Audition time for the Brew Crew officially. See who they have and what they have for next year.
Now, this can be a fun time of year. I mean, you want to be a contender. You certainly don't want to be in a position like this where you're trading off your best players. But the Brewers realize where they are, and they've hopefully been able to capitalize with some terrific young prospects. And in the meantime, we see it every year. You get some energetic play this time of year. Gennett didn't know where the ball was. That's going to fall foul. He had no idea where that was. Bryant gave chase, and Gennett still in a 1-2 count.
Yeah, check swing in no man's land. The ball was right up in the air, but nobody could get there. A break for Scooter. You don't see too many check swings on a ball in the dirt that end up like that. I didn't see that ball hit the dirt before he hit it, but he did, and out of the reach of Bryant in foul territory.
Yeah, that's a live ball when it hits the dirt. Just ask Vladimir Guerrero or maybe Yogi Berra. They do that every now and then.
Playing a little cricket.
That's right. Now the Brewers know they've got a tough draw tonight. Cubs starting pitching has been very good. Overall, their pitching's been great. They are in the top 4 in the National League in earned run average. Hamill has an ERA of 3.20. That gives the Cubs 3 pitchers with an ERA in the low 3s or better. Arrieta tops that list. And he pitched last night. Was on the hook for the loss until the late game dramatics of Anthony Rizzo, who hit a 3-run home run in the 8th inning.
Yeah.
Turned a 2-0 Brewers lead into a 3-2 Cubs lead. They added 2 more in the 9th and won the game 5-2.
And you got Will Smith, lefty versus lefty.
So the Cubs keep coming at you with their starting rotation, and they've made a couple of trades as well. They've added to their bullpen in Tommy Hunter, who will be arriving here from the Orioles, should be available tomorrow, and Dan Herron, who last started against the Washington Nationals yesterday, pitching for Miami. He's coming to Chicago. Rumor is he'll pitch next week in Pittsburgh, maybe Tuesday. There's a strike called in a long battle between Hamill and Gennett. Hamill wins it on 9 pitches, a strikeout.
Yeah, not overpowering is Hamill. He's got a good variety of off-speed pitches, changeup, and slider. Let's check out the Cubs Menards defense. Coghlan, Fowler, and Soler in the outfield. Same outfield as last night. Chris Bryant gets a start here tonight. He did not start in yesterday's ball game, but came in late. Castro, Russell up the middle. Anthony Rizzo, yesterday's star hitter for the Cubs at first base, and Kyle Schwarber, who started in left field last night behind home plate.
There is Chris Bryant. Great young talent. Had a couple of at-bats last night. Got a day off from the starting lineup, but ended up staying in the game. And one of the 4 regular rookies that Joe Maddon is going to rely on down the stretch. Lucroy up there, and he takes a strike. 0-2 the count.
It's interesting the Cubs pick up 2 pitchers, and their pitching staff is the reason why they're where they're at. They did not acquire a bat, at least not yet.
They started looking around, and there were a lot of rumors out there that Starlin Castro would be on the trading block. The Cubs would probably like to move somewhere and change up some of their position players, but Castro has that long-term deal. It's not easily tradable. He made a play last night. I tell you, if he dials it in and can play like Starlin Castro is capable, Cubs really have a talent at short. Just getting him to be that player every day for the rest of the season will be the trick for Joe Maddon and company.
Focus an issue, but if you can't focus when you're in a pennant race and the Cubs feel as though they're right in it, there's something wrong. He's having a rough season both at shortstop and at the plate.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Lucroy. Ground ball. Bryant backhands it, and Lucroy is out. 2 up, 2 down for Hamill. Well, there's a lot of talk about Castro, and he does infuriate Cubs fans, but the play he made last night, robbing Chris Davis of a hit, is the reason why you still have a little hope for Starlin Castro. He's won the hits total for a season in the National League. He's a terrific defender, has a great arm. It just doesn't all show up statistically because he's not always there.
Every day, right? He's committed 17 errors, but he makes plays like that.
That's about as good as a shortstop can do it, by the way, that play last night. From his knees, think about how long that throw is.
Yeah, it's a throw that is a difference maker. I mean, a lot of shortstops get to that baseball but can't make a throw, but Castro off balance on his knee, a strike, and gets his man. Yep, good play.
Ryan Braun with 2 outs. Ryan coming in with a batting average of .266, 18 home runs, 62 driven in. Oh, while the Brewers make trades and move players around, Braun has been the constant. Signing that long deal, a 5-year deal originally, and then a 5-year extension on top of it to make it a 10-year contract that'll take us into the 20s. The roaring 20s are coming back, and Braun still under contract for that.
Going to have to shoulder a lot more of the load now with a couple of big offensive players being traded.
And the Brewers cleared the deck for Ramirez, Parra, and Carlos Gomez. Regulars in the starting lineup offensively. Gomez is in the lineup tonight, by the way, for the Astros. We'll try to bring you some of his action in his first game as a Houston Astro. He hustled right down there, didn't he? They've got a matchup tonight against the Arizona Diamondbacks.
That's what you like, guys getting traded, jump on a plane and getting that starting lineup.
2-2 to Braun. Fouls it away. Now we'll check in with Sophia in a little while and get the pulse of the players that are here. Doesn't feel any different around the ballpark today. There are a lot of key pieces gone, but I think everybody kind of understood the trade winds are blowing. Maybe a bit surprised that guys like Adam Lind did not get traded. Maybe Francisco Rodriguez. Those were a couple of names that were out there.
I thought there'd be a ton of teams looking for K-Rod, as good as he's been. Not Brewers not pulling the trigger on anything if there was a deal to be made. I think everybody, in the last few weeks, probably thinking it might be them. I mean, everybody, I think, there was an opportunity for the Brewers, if the deal was right, that they would trade. There weren't too many golden gooses, or geese, I should say. Golden boys that were hands off. I would imagine Jimmy Nelson, Peralta, maybe, and Youngman at this point. Maybe Lucroy.
3-2's hit well, right center. Braun sends it way back, and there it goes. A 2-out, 2-strike home run for Ryan Braun, number 19. And the Brewers are on the board first tonight, 1-0.
And takes it to right field. That's what he's been doing. Most of his home runs have come out there and fouled off a couple of pitches, and then finally got one middle in, 93 miles an hour. And Ronnie doing what he does best, pulling the hands in and shooting it out there into the gap and into that Cubs bullpen. Powerball home run count for Ryan Braun, number 19 on the season.
So 19 homers, 63 runs batted in for Braun. And the Brewers strike first here tonight. Here is Adam Lind. Brewers still have an option on Lind for next year. That has come up his contract status. And you're going to need a first baseman next year. Lind's been a very good hitter for the Brewers this year. He's got a batting average near 280, high on base percentage, nearly 360. And he is slugging well as well. Hits that one sharply right to Castro. And that will retire the side. So Hamill is through the first, but not before Ryan Braun, with 2 outs, goes deep, opposite field, home run. Number 19 for Braun. We'll visit with Doug Melvin once again when we continue. Up with a home run in the first inning, 1-0. The Brewers lead the Cubs as we head to the second. And a furious couple of days of trading for general manager Doug Melvin. Thanks for coming back on with us. You're going to have to send us an invoice. You've become part of the broadcast team here, but we appreciate your time. And are things now relaxed for you? There is the non-waiver or the waiver period trade deadline, I guess, coming up in August. But what's your setup right now and your mindset after finishing the regular trade deadline?
Well, it was an interesting week. We had a lot of fun You know, we got to know a lot of depth of a lot of organizations, and but you know, trade deadline, most of it will be over, but there will be an occasional trade here after the July 31st. There's been some good trades that have taken place, and you know, we're always on the watch. You know, now that we've created some openings and opportunities, you know, maybe some waiver claims. Some teams have filled their rosters through trades, and now they're going to have to make some 40-man roster moves, and our scouts, I instructed them to be on top of that over the next couple days.
Yeah, it seemed like there was a lot of activity in the last week or so. Is that something that you expected, or how does the activity in his trading deadline period rank amongst other years that you have been doing this?
Yeah, I thought that there was going to be a little more activity this trade period. I think it's because there were so many teams that are in the race, and maybe the extra wild card or in that regard. But I just felt there was going to be a lot of activity. You sort of get a sense of it about 5 days ago, 6 days ago. But there was also some teams that 7-8 days ago said, hey, we're ready to sell players. And I know Chicago White Sox had a hot streak, and now Rick Hahn, their general manager, told me, hey, now we're back in that we got to keep players, and we think we're close enough to go out there. And if we have continue the hot streak and somebody falters, you know, you feel you're going to be in a pennant race. The main thing is being in a pennant race in September. We've been on both sides of trades, acquiring players in the past. I would rather have been on that end of it than doing what we're doing. But for what we had to do, I would say we feel very good about the player acquisitions, in spite of the fact of giving up some pretty good players and some pretty good people.
Yeah, tell us about Zach Davies. He was in the deal for Gerardo Parra. Tell us a little bit about him. And now he's a guy that you have said that we may see here this year.
Yeah, he's in AAA, and once you get a AA and AAA, you got a chance to get to the big leagues. But I got a surprise phone call from Buck Showalter this afternoon, an old teammate of mine back in 1976, a long time ago. But Buck gave me a call and said he loved Josh Hader, who was with the Orioles a few years ago, and he said on Zach Davies, he said, don't be surprised. He's 6 foot, 150 pounds. He looks like a bat boy. But he said people, they had an exhibition game against Tampa, and he said people are looking and sort of giggling a little bit, you know, wondering, you know, who is this guy? And he said all the little giggles and the uncertainty disappeared 2 innings later when he's out there painting like Greg Maddux and throwing change-ups, and he's got a very nice delivery, and he's a great competitor.
Well, that's great. I know he pitched in the Futures game as well from the Orioles. Now coming to the Brewers in the Gerardo Parra deal. That deal was done today. Youngman facing Chris Bryant here with 1 away. So before we get too far into this, let me just allow you to say a few words on Parra and Broxton, specifically Parra, though, who had an incredible year while he was here in Milwaukee. I don't know if anybody expected that kind of production out of him this season.
Yeah, he was he was disappointed he was traded. He said he loved it here, and I asked him if he had a great experience. He said it was really a great experience, and I told him, I said, Gerardo, the start of the year, we're not sure. We were talking you might only get 250, 275 at bats, but you took advantage of the opportunity when there were some injuries, and you jumped on that opportunity and performed at a high level, and he did, and he went about his business the right way too. Very professional. Plays on both sides of the game, defense, offensive side. He was always, whenever I was down in the dugout for some pregame stuff, he was always the first one out into the dugout. You know? There's sometimes players will sort of hang around the locker room, go out the last few minutes and that, but he was always in there, first one there, putting his bats in the bat rack and getting ready, and that's something that we'll miss. But he's going to be a free agent next year, and it's an opportunity for him to capitalize on a great year that he's had.
Chance to sign him? Is that something you'd be interested in pursuing, or where does that stand with him to close the book on Parra?
That stands as tampering because he's
that's true. He's an Oriole now.
An Oriole now.
That's a good point. Sorry about that.
Yeah, see there? Right.
Not even with the Brewers. There's a base hit to center field. Soler singles. 2 on now against Youngman. So we can now let's start to look at some of these players that you've acquired. You've already talked about Zach Davies, but some of the other players that the Brewers have acquired, and this is straight from your quotes, actually, where they're headed. And maybe you can just pick out a couple of names here that you'd like to tell us about.
Yeah, Brett Phillips was a player that we thought was untouchable all along, and when we put Mike Fiers in the deal, we had asked that Brett Phillips has to be a part of that for us to give up a young pitcher like Mike Fiers. But Brett Phillips is a center fielder. He's got great makeup. He's a left-handed hitter. He's shown some power earlier in A-ball. He's in Double-A right now, but he plays the game the way that I know a lot of managers, coaches love, and a very aggressive player. So real excited to have him. And obviously with the hole in center field now, he's got a great opportunity being in Double-A. If he can perform well, who knows how long it'll be before he gets here.
Yeah, it seems like the Biloxi team is having a pretty good season. Now you add all those guys to that. What happens to the team itself? Players that have been there. I mean, some go to AAA, maybe some get sent down. Walk us through what happens down in the minor league system now.
Well, Gord Ash, Tom Flanagan, Reed Nichols, they get together and they have to make some moves. There was probably, you think there was a lot of moves on the major league club.
Right, yeah.
There was a ton of moves on the minor league club, and I tipped my hand a little bit about a player that's going from Double-A to AAA. Gord told me I spoke too early, but he's going after the game today, so he already knows. But and there's an outfielder that's going to AAA, and that'll open up a spot for Brett Phillips. But you got Victor Roach, Brett Phillips, and Tyrone Taylor there at Double-A in the outfield. And Domingo Santana's in AAA. He'll just get plugged in there. He's one of the top hitters, Pacific Coast. They think he had the biggest OPS.
There's a base hit. Castro, they're going to send Bryant around third. No throw made, and a run will score. And we are tied. So a walk and then back-to-back singles. Starlin Castro with an RBI. Cubs have him at first and second with one away, and a run is in.
The two pitchers, Josh Hader and Adrian Hauser, they'll both go right into the rotation at Biloxi. And Jonathan Barrios, who we got in the Aramis Ramirez trade, which seemed like a month ago. Right. He's in the bullpen there at Biloxi. And then we got a young player, Malik Collymore, that we got on the Jonathan Broxton trade, and Gord handled that trade. I gave him the responsibility to go talk to John Mozeliak and see what you can do for Jonathan Broxton. And I think John Mozeliak gave us a Canadian and thought that was going to
make you happy,
make us happy. And he's a young player that's got some really good tools, and he's going to go into Helena and play. But he's got some great tools. He played the infield, and we're going to put him in the outfield, have him play some outfield. But that worked out. I called you Gerardo at, I guess, at 9:30 this morning, and called Broxton at 10:30. So a lot happened early this morning, and saw Gerardo's in the dugout in Baltimore already, and Carlos made it in Houston. And I thought it's got to be very difficult for a player. You put on one uniform, you're in one city, you're all of a sudden whole teammates, and one day later, it happens, and you just have to adjust.
Hamill gets a bunt down. Lucroy will play it, and there is the second out. That'll be a sacrifice bunt. What was the reaction? What have you sensed from the current ball club? What was the reaction of the traded players? And you mentioned yesterday the conversation with Gomez was a little emotional. Gomez is an emotional guy anyway. He had some great comments after or during the game, actually, that we aired, and he's always going to remember Milwaukee as a special place for him. So I would imagine the personal side of it can be interesting for you and sometimes difficult.
Yeah, it's tough because you acquire these players and you feel good about the acquisitions of them, and you'd love them to be there 6-7 years, but it doesn't happen. It's like having great friends in high school, and you move on to college and they're different friends, and you go through the minor leagues and you got different friends, and it's part of adjustment that you make. But the baseball circle, a lot of these guys have played with each other somewhere. Winter ball, instructional league, Arizona Fall League, and then the major league. So it seems like a lot of these guys really know each other.
There's a fly ball into center field. Peterson is there to make the play. Well, Doug, I appreciate all the information. Thanks for coming on the air with us to disseminate to the fans.
Thank you,
busy
guys.
time for you.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Doug. We'll see you tomorrow, okay?
Yeah.
He might give us a reason to have him on tomorrow. We'll see. Yeah, a lot of wind today. Good day for the artistic windmills out there. That's a beautiful look. A lot of great stuff going on in Milwaukee on a Friday afternoon and now evening. We're at Miller Park, just a few miles from there, and it is time for you to tweet us your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag WishDataStrongFan. You just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. It is all brought to you by T-Mobile. Thanks to Doug Melvin. Appreciate him coming on the air, and it's better to hear it from the horse's mouth. And a lot of good things to say. I know he feels really good about where the minor league system is now. The Brewers added a ton of prospects. I believe they now have 3 top 100 prospects in all of baseball. Had just one in Arcia prior to these trades. Davis into right field, a base hit. Shoots one the other way in a single to lead off the second inning.
Yeah, that's the thing about the whole prospect label. I mean, you never know. I mean, where was Taylor Youngman ranked as far as prospects go? And he comes up to the big leagues and he's dominated. I mean, he's been outstanding. I mean, 5-2, a 2.14 ERA. You just never know when you bring these kids up and you give them an opportunity what they're going to do.
Now, players in the minor leagues, prospects like that, it not only allows you to hopefully get some major league talent, but it also gives you trade pieces if you're in contention, and there are players that teams are interested in, like the Brewers and all of these players that have been acquired. There's certainly the pieces that allow you to make those deals, and the Brewers would like to be on the other side of the fence, back where they'd rather be, making acquisitions for a pennant race. Shane Peterson with Davis at first. By the way, Doug was mentioning that very talented Biloxi team who is already playoff bound in the AA Southern League, and they have a very good starting rotation right now. And tonight in Biloxi, Tyler Wagner, who made one appearance in the big leagues for the Brewers, he's a big prospect in the Brewers system, homegrown. He is through 5 in a 7-inning game. He's got a no-hitter through 5, so we'll keep track of that, see if he can finish it off. That Biloxi team is just rolling through the Southern League. Good for them.
Yeah, and they just got better. A bunch of prospects and trades are going to Biloxi. It's amazing. People don't think about the impact to the minor league players when you make blockbuster deals like that. You bring in what, half a dozen, 6, 7 minor league players. They got to play somewhere, and that has other movement. Other players have to go other places, and a lot of movement in that minor league system. And what happens at the big league level certainly has that trickle down effect.
And here at the big league level for the Brewers, guys like Shane Peterson get a great opportunity now as Peterson strikes out. That's the second K for Hamill. One away with Davis at first. Brewers got a run on a Braun homer in the bottom of the first. Cubs tied it in the top of the second inning. And an RBI single by Starlin Castro. Segura coming in at 269. He's been mired in a bit of a slump here recently. He's looking for a hot streak, a finishing kick to the season as we hit the month of August tomorrow. It's been a stated goal for Segura. He wants to finish strong. Not something he's been able to do in his short time in the big leagues. Brewers got Segura in a big trade. The 1 year that they were sellers, feeling like they had a chance to capitalize, trading Zach Greinke to the Angels. getting Segura and Johnny Helwig, who is on the comeback trail after Tommy John surgery, and Ariel Pena. And Segura has been the bright star in that group.
And Zach Greinke was in Anaheim for what, a couple of months, then moved on. So Brewers got the better of that deal.
Segura had come up mostly playing second base with the Angels, and then they moved him the year prior to the Brewers acquiring him in that Greinke deal, 2012. And then Segura ended up making the All-Star team in 2013. Had a down year last year, a lot of off-field problems for Segura, and the passing of his young son, his baby. Just a very trying season for Segura. He also got hit in the eye over there in the on-deck area. Ryan Braun hit him inadvertently. Chopper, tough play here. Rizzo going to second, and they get the out at second base.
Nice play. The only chance he had was to get Davis going to second base. And he took off right away, realizing that there's no way Russell was going to be able to make the play. Hey, tonight's time of the game winner, Clyde's Corner in Beldenville, Wisconsin. That's up in Pierce County, way up north. Hey, if they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours, they get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to a Brewers home game. So offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
Oh, beautiful night here at Miller Park. That's what you love about the summer, right? Get to come and hang out at a beautiful ballpark. Enjoy the evening. Major League Baseball in front of you, still filing in. Elian Herrera back in the big leagues. Herrera was designated for assignment when the Brewers acquired Hernan Perez from the Tigers. That was on June 2nd. And Herrera was basically a free agent at that point, but he accepted the assignment. He wanted to stay in the Brewers system. He likes the Brewers organization. Felt like he, even though he wasn't on the Major League roster, would have a chance to go play every day in AAA and prove that he could earn his way back, and he's done just that. You give a guy like this a lot of credit.
A switch hitter that can play anywhere, and when I say anywhere, I mean anywhere. Outfield, infield. He's caught, not at the big league level, but the emergency catcher for the Brewers. Probably get some time at second base this year against a tough lefty. Turn him around and have him hit right-handed. Audition time for some of these guys.
Yeah.
It's important time for them. Important 2 months for a lot of these players on this roster.
And for a guy like Elian Herrera, everybody knows what he can do at the major league level. He's just in a position now where he's got to prove he can be that consistent utility player that can become a valuable part of a ball club. Everybody knows what he can do left-handed. He's a much better hitter left-handed, but the fact that he's now playing the outfield for the Brewers the second consecutive year, that will open up more opportunities for him. The trick in all of that is the fact that he can play shortstop, and that really separates utility players. Ground ball to second base. This will be the final out of the inning, and Hamill works a scoreless second. Brewers strand a runner after a leadoff single by Davis.
the Brewers and the Cubs here at Miller Park. And earlier tonight, Mayor Tom Barrett and the Brewers combining to host 15 fathers and their children arriving on the Fox Sports Wisconsin Fan Express to spend a night here at the ballpark. And pleased to be joined now by Milwaukee Mayor Tom Barrett. And Mr. Mayor, thank you so much for joining us. And this Milwaukee Fatherhood Initiative is a very important cause for you, celebrating the positive roles that dads can have in their kids' lives here tonight.
Well, and it's what better place to bring your kid, whether it's your son or your daughter, than to a Brewers game. And it's really teaching dads, no matter where they are in their own life, to bond with their kids. And the Brewers have been phenomenal partners in this endeavor.
This is the 5th year that the Brewers and you have teamed up for this endeavor. What do you get out of it personally to spend the evening with the dads and the kids here at the ballpark?
Well, again, anytime you see a dad with their son or daughter at the ballpark, you know they're having a good time, almost by definition. And I really think it helps with the bonding. You remember that. I remember when my dad took me to games when I was a little kid. And so this is a type of thing that I think parents and their children will remember the rest of their life.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Barrett, and great to see the mayor here celebrating the role of fathers and kids here at the ballpark. No better place to do it.
Yeah, no question. Thanks, Sophia. Thanks to Mayor Barrett. That was a nice cause. Those kids had a lot of smiles on their faces here tonight. So did the parents, the guardians. And a good night to do it. Friday night at Miller Park.
Beautiful weather. Everything opened up. Gorgeous out tonight.
Dexter Fowler down in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Youngman back to the top of the order now. He gave up a run on 2 hits last inning. Youngman with a couple of Ks. He's coming off a loss his last time out against the Arizona Diamondbacks, but he still pitched well in that game. He certainly had good enough stuff to win the game. The Brewers didn't hit. They got shut out over the weekend in that series. Youngman giving up just 2 earned runs on 4 hits in 6 innings. But he did walk 4, and it's the most walks he's had as a major leaguer. 4 walks, 7 strikeouts in those 6 innings.
And one of those walks came in the first inning, and unfortunately for him, came around to score. But he looked good. Brewers got shut out 2-0. That was a stretch where they got shut out in back-to-back games in Arizona.
2-2 on the way. Fowler swings and misses. Taylor Youngman strikes out Fowler for the 2nd time. That's his 3rd overall. Well, Taylor Youngman, across his last 6 games, the headliner in that was this complete game effort against the Los Angeles Dodgers. But Rocca, a 3-1 record, a 1.54 ERA. He's making his 10th start as a major leaguer here tonight. This is beginning with his start on June 25th against the Mets when he went 5 shutout.
Yeah, July numbers 3-1 and a 150 earned run average. He's only given up more than 2 runs in a game once. 2 earned runs. Oddly enough, that was at Colorado back on June 19th. Gave up 4 runs and got a win.
Yeah, and that was a pretty good effort by Youngman that day. Anytime you keep your team in a game in Colorado, you're doing well. Kind of throw the line out for a game like that. 4 runs isn't bad at all in that environment. So those are his last 3. That complete game effort against the Dodgers, the first and only complete game of the year for the Brewers starters this year.
And Brewers have been shut out in both of his losses so far this year. Tells you all you need to know. In 3 of his starts, they have not scored a run. One of them a no decision.
He's 25 years of age. Played at a high-level university at the University of Texas in Austin. Was a Longhorn, and he won the College Player of the Year in 2011. The Dick Hauser Award, they call it. Last year was an All-Star in the Southern League in Double-A. He led all Brewers minor leaguers in strikeouts last year and had 12 wins last year in the minor leagues. Central Texas born and raised. Says right there Temple, that's where he was born, and spent some time in a tiny little town called Rogers, and then went to high school in Georgetown, Texas, before he goes to Austin to star at the University of Texas with teammate Corey Knebel.
And had it not been for that 17-inning game here at Miller Park, he might not have ever been in the big leagues.
That's a great point.
You know, I mean, that's the way it goes. I mean, you get an opportunity. Who knows why? In that case, he was able to get a start.
Schwarber into left center field. Peterson on the run, and he's got it for out number two, I beg your pardon. Fowler and Schwarber retired. Well, tonight be sure to catch Fox Sports Live on Fox Sports 1 for complete highlights and analysis of everything that happened in Major League Baseball today, plus the latest from NFL training camps. Fox Sports Live tonight, Fox Sports 1, and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Two up, two down for Chris Coughlin.
Yeah, one more anecdote on Taylor Young. We were talking down in the dugout with Zach Manazzi and Doug Melvin, and they were talking about that first start in Pittsburgh that he made. It was supposed to rain all night, and had it been rained out, he would not have pitched. They would have sent him down to the minor leagues, and he would probably have never made a start this year.
Wow.
That's the way it goes sometimes. You get lucky, right?
The baseball gods looking down on Taylor Youngman. Probably would have emerged as a big leaguer at some point, but he was not pitching well in AAA. Colorado Springs have an ERA over 6.
Get a chance and take advantage of it. That's what he's done.
So the 17-inning game against the Diamondbacks. Matt Garza came out of the bullpen that game and pitched the last 5 innings and got the win. That's what set this wheel in motion that the Brewers were without a starter for a while. So they brought up Tyler Wagner. Originally it was Tyler Cravey who pitched a game in St. Louis. Tyler Wagner pitched here in Milwaukee, and then Taylor Youngman slotted back in. So there were basically 3 pitchers trying to fill that one spot. Willie Peralta had gone on the disabled list as well, so they were really struggling to try to fill that 5th spot in the rotation.
Somebody got hurt, a position player, and then they had to send a pitcher down. It was
Braun.
Wagner, right? And then
Braun got hurt, didn't go on the DL though. Remember, they brought Peterson up,
right?
And so they needed a roster spot, and that's when Tyler Cravey was sent out after his terrific game against the Cardinals. And Youngman took the baton, and he's still here.
That was something, wasn't it? Had Braun not gotten hurt, it would have been Tyler Wagner that's had all the success.
By the way, Tyler Wagner lost his no-hitter at AA Biloxi in the 6th inning tonight. But he'll get a chance. He's pitching well in AA. He'll get another shot, as will Tyler Cravey.
All this because it didn't rain in Pittsburgh.
That's going to be great. It's going to be a great book one day for Taylor Youngman. Let's hope he goes on to win Cy Youngs and makes all-star teams, and that'll be a fun story. Len makes a nice play, hits Youngman on the run in time for the out, and the inning is over. 3 up, 3 down. Youngman retires the Cubs in order. Don't just live, shine. By Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. And by Hupy and Abraham, 800-800-5678. Hupy and Abraham, tell them you mean business. Friday night, Miller Park, Milwaukee, 1-1. We're all tied heading to the bottom of the third inning. His name is Kevin Rail right there in the front row. His daughter on his lap. He is a master sergeant as Youngman. Little flare. That's going to fall. A base hit. Taylor Youngman with his 4th hit in the big leagues. Jumping on it right away. The Rail family happy about that. Tip our hat to Master Sergeant Rail. He's with the 355th Air Force Security Forces Squadron out of Davis Mountain Air Force Base in Tucson. 22 years active duty. He is from Marinette, Wisconsin, and he is sitting in Mark Atanasio seats, and we welcome Officer Rail and his family.
I can't thank him enough. He and the family. Everybody sacrifices when they serve our country.
So a base hit by Youngman to start the inning. Back-to-back innings with a leadoff single. Here is Scooter Gennett. And now Rizzo on his way in. Not sure what this one's about.
Probably going to work behind him, so don't throw over. Don't mess around. The pitcher's over there at first base. Cover a little bit more ground with the left-hander up. That would be a good title to Youngman's book. No rain in Pittsburgh.
How a 17-inning game and no rain in Pittsburgh.
Right.
Started a long career. He hopes that's what his story will be. Gennett struck out in the first inning after a 9-pitch at bat to start the game offensively for the Brewers. All tied at 1, bottom third.
Well, both pitchers using two-seam fastballs pretty well. Hamill with that sinking fastball has got a good changeup and a slider. Started Scooter off with a curveball, so he's got 4 pitches that he likes to use. Youngman really doesn't have a slider.
In the air down the left field line. Coughlin will give it chase, and he's got it just shy of the retaining wall in foul territory for the first out of the inning. Hamill's coming off a tough outing. He allowed a season high 6 runs in 3 2/3 innings against the Phillies last time out. That's one he'd like to erase. Most runs he'd allowed in a game prior to that was 4, giving up 6 in 3 2/3.
Yeah, he's lost 3 in a row, 3 straight decisions. That covers 8 starts. So he's had a number of no decisions in there.
Hamill was traded to the A's last year from the Cubs and then became a free agent and then re-signed with Chicago. Got a 2-year deal with the Cubs. Traded to Oakland July 5th of last year. He pitched well for the Cubs prior to the trade. Had an ERA under 3 in 17 starts with the Cubs in 2014. Has played for the Rockies, the Orioles. First team to call him up was the Tampa Bay Rays.
Throws a lot of strikes. He's only walked 22 batters in 19 starts. He's got a strikeout to walk ratio of 5-1.
Now the Cubs are hoping he has a better finishing kick this year in a pennant race than he did with the A's last year. After being traded to Oakland, he went 2-6, had an ERA of 4.26. He and Jeff Samardzija sent to Oakland. Cubs got Addison Russell as the headliner in return. A couple other minor leaguers. Russell now starting at second base for Joe Maddon. Could possibly end up at shortstop one day for the Cubs. Lucroy in a 2-2 count. He's got Youngman at first. In the air, left center field, falling fast on the run. Coghlan lays out and makes the catch.
Yeah, well done. Coghlan got a great jump on that baseball, and a full out dive, able to keep it in the glove, and Rob Lucroy a base hit. Never taking his eye off that baseball and able to grab it, hold on. You see the way he hits with the glove first, so it doesn't bounce out. Nice play coming in.
And a starting pitcher appreciates it. Lucroy has one taken away by Chris Coghlan, who started at third base last night. Hadn't played much infield. It's only the second start of his season at third base, and has rarely played that position since his minor league days. Back where he's most comfortable. Former Rookie of the Year, Chris Coghlan.
Yeah, Joe Maddon had a couple of guys out of position yesterday. Coghlan at third. They had Schwarber, the catcher, in left field. Trying to find some offenses, Joe Maddon, with these Cubs. It's the only thing they're really lacking. And that's a big thing, isn't it? Trying to score runs.
Well, Ryan Braun drove in one with a home run in the first inning. Came with 2 outs. He's up there with 2 outs and Youngman at first. Ryan Braun in our Columbia St. Mary's Worth. Another look. 3-2 pitch with 2 outs. And Braun sends one into the Cubs bullpen for home run number 19.
Yeah, on a ball that a lot of home run hitters would try and pull. Brony pulling their hands in and shooting it out of here to right center.
He's down in the count. No balls, 2 strikes. Missed outside. Not by much. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Braun.
Yeah, Braun took that one like it was a foot outside. Working him away. Tried to come inside one time and hit it out of the ballpark. Everything away to Ryan Braun in this at bat.
Braun's got good history against Jason Hamill. 6 for 18 now in his career after that home run in the first inning. Fox Tracks had it off the plate. Everything away from Braun. The 1-2 pitch, a breaking ball down and away. 2-2 now. This is a very familiar sequence for Ryan Braun. Most pitchers try to get him outside. You stand on the mound and you look at Ryan Braun, as deep as he stands in the box and as far away from the plate. It looks very inviting out there on the outside corner. Not many stand as far away from the plate as Braun, but he is adept at diving into it and driving it to the opposite field. Back out there goes Hamill, and Braun able to foul it away.
Well, if you're a catcher out there and you want to take a good guess as to where a hitter likes the baseball, whether it be in or out, you see where he stands on the plate. Guys that are right on top of the plate, they're there for a reason. They want the ball in on them. So you work the outer half of the plate, you work the outside corner, and in Braun's case, he stands off the plate because he doesn't want it inside.
Yeah, if you want to pull the ball, right, you stand right on top of the plate like Rizzo.
Yeah. Simple.
2-2. Here it comes. And Braun off the end of the bat this time. Fowler is there, and that will retire the side. So Youngman starts the inning with a single. He's stranded at first. And we're headed to the fourth. All tied at 1. Here at Miller Park, and Youngman and Hamill hooking up here tonight. Anthony Rizzo will lead off. He's in our AT&T U-Burst rewind. Had the big swing last night. Brewers had a 2-0 lead, and Rizzo got a fastball from Smith, and he did not miss. A 3-run home run changed the game right there in the 8th inning. Cubs would go on to win 5-2. Rizzo with his 3rd home run against a left-handed pitcher this season. That was his 18th overall. And the 2-time All-Star was having a big year once again. He was in the home run derby. And he's part of the young wave for the Cubs. He's been here a few years, but he is emerging as the face of the franchise for the Chicago Cubs.
And just the opposite of Ryan Braun, where he likes the baseball. Now try and remember where Ryan Braun was standing in that right-handed batter's box, way off the outside corner, or off the inside corner. Now check out Rizzo when he steps in there. Watch how close he is to the plate. Remember the home run he hit yesterday? A fastball in, able to turn on it and knock it out of the ballpark. He is right on top of the plate. His hands are hanging right over the inside corner.
Makes it very tough to hit the inside corner. Youngman staying away.
That's where you want to stay. I mean, you don't want to try and get him inside. That's where he wants it.
That one's into left center. Little flare is going to fall. Youngman got in on his hands that time, but Rizzo strong enough to put it in play. Gets a base hit out of it. Lead runner on the 4th for the Cubs.
Ball hit the ground, didn't even roll. That's how bad he got jammed, but he put it in a good spot. Big, strong left-handed hitter, able to muscle it into the outfield. Good pitch by Youngman, but didn't get an out on it.
So here's Chris Bryant, who walked and scored in the 2nd inning to tie the game. Braun hit a home run in the 1st. That skips by Lucroy. And Rizzo will end up at second base.
Yeah, that's when Luke probably should be able to handle his short hop on the backhand. Ordinarily, Lucroy is going to be able to keep that in the glove, or at least keep it close enough to keep Rizzo at first base.
Ooh, up and in. Youngman, a close shave on Chris Bryant.
Caught him diving. Trying to cover that outside corner. Buzzed the tower.
A lot of expectations for Chris Bryant to live up to. I'm not sure I remember a more highly touted prospect in spring training this year. Everybody clamoring for Bryant. The Cubs sent him to the minor leagues to start the year, but he wasn't there long. Just a couple of weeks. Had huge numbers this spring. It felt like he was hitting a home run every day he played.
Was it 10?
I think
9
it was.
or 10?
Yep. He's hit 14 in 92 games in the big leagues. 339 at bats. Does have a lot of strikeouts. Matter of fact, only Jock Peterson with more strikeouts in the National League at this point than Bryant. But he's been very productive. In 92 games, he's got 14 homers, 60 runs batted in. He's stolen 10 bases.
Two guys on this roster, Rizzo and Bryant, combination of speed and power. Rizzo with 14 stolen bases. Not a guy, when you look at him, you don't think about the stolen base with him. He's a big dude. Picks his spots. He's able to steal a base.
Bryant making the All-Star team this year. Rips one foul. His batting average is on a bit of a tumble over the last month, but only Peterson has more home runs among rookies. Peterson's making a serious charge at the Rookie of the Year this season. He's got a lot of strikeouts as well, and that could come down to a two-horse race for Rookie of the Year. Jacob deGrom won the Rookie of the Year last year, the Mets pitcher. 2-2 the count. Got a runner at second. And Bryant takes a ball inside, able to check his swing.
Yeah, those two guys, Peterson and Bryant, they might combine for 400 strikeouts this year. They can swing and miss, but they can hit the home runs.
He's only 23 from Las Vegas. 3-2 pitch. And down he goes. Youngman strikes him out looking. Put a fastball by him, and Bryant not pleased with the call. Asking Hunter Wendelstedt if that was maybe as low as he'll go.
Almost identical to the pitch that Jimmy Nelson struck him out on last night. That fastball down and in. That two-seamer. That power sinker. He's been throwing a lot more of those as of late. Good movement going in, catching the inside corner. Rung him up.
A cordial conversation. And Bryant is out number one. Rizzo still at second. Here is Soler. And a shot. And that's through for a base hit. So Jorge Soler has 2 hits tonight. That broke his bat, it sounded like. First and third for the Cubs now with 1 away. Yep. Splintered the bat. They had Soler in the hole between short and third.
He's a pull hitter. He beat the shift going up the middle. That's a wide stance. Not much of a leg kick at all. Just turns that heel in and right down on the handle, down on the trademark, and able to muscle it into center field. Big, strong right-handed batter. They got some big guys in this lineup.
So runners at the corners. Starlin Castro now drove in the first run for the Cubs. Had an RBI single. Tied the game. Youngman looking for a double play ball here, and a strike to get the count started. Castro grounds into a lot of double plays. Second most in the National League, as a matter of fact. Only Casey McGee has grounded into more double plays. McGee now back with the Marlins after starting with the Giants. Youngman hoping to add to the total. Strike. 0-2 the count.
Man, free swinger doesn't strike out a whole lot. Well, I guess he does this year, 70 of them. Normally not up there long enough to strike out. He likes to hack early in the count. 16 walks is all and 70 punch outs for Castro.
Hard to believe this is Castro's 6th year in the big leagues. Came up as a 20-year-old. 2010, was an all-star in 11. He led the National League in hits that year. 3-time all-star now, Castro, including an all-star team last year. It's been his worst year as a big leaguer. Little chopper. And only one play. Jeanette does get the out at second base. No double play, however. Rizzo scores the go-ahead run. That'll be an RBI fielder's choice for Starlin Castro. Cubs lead 2-1.
Put the bat on the baseball with 2 strikes, put it in play, and able to drive in a run. They cut down on the swing. It was a slider that stayed up, and Castro grounds out weakly, but able to get the run in. A nice backhand flip over to Gene Segura to get the out at second.
2 outs now. Castro has both of the RBIs. And here is the pitcher Hamill. Defensive swing and a miss. And down he goes. So Youngman strikes out his mound opponent. Now 5 Ks in the game. He's given up 2 runs, and the Brewers are down 2-1.
And Craig Counsell addressed what his team looks like after the trade deadline. He said, no doubt we lost 3 very good hitters from our regular lineup in Aramis Ramirez, Carlos Gomez, and Geraldo Parra. He said, so the biggest challenge for us is going to be replacing the run production that we got from those guys. So he said, we're going to need the regulars like Lind, Lucroy, Braun to step up their production. And also they're going to need to get contributions from young guys like Davis, Jeanette, up and down the lineup. He said it's going to have to be offense by committee replacing the firepower that they lost in those guys, and that's going to be the biggest challenge for this offense as they adjust to some new lineups moving forward.
All right, Sophia, thanks. And, you know, we forget sometimes that Craig Counsell is a first-year manager, so this is an opportunity for him. He continues to gain experience, and now he gets to teach a little more. You know, you got guys up here trying to prove themselves, and Counsell's been that guy. He's been the guy that's had to prove himself his entire playing career. So I think he's right at home with some of these guys who are coming up here and trying to make a name. I mean, he's the perfect guy to go to. Counsell's very understanding of the position some of these players are in, and this will be a good opportunity and experience for him. Final 2 months of the season.
I mean, it's not like this is a surprise for Counsell. I think when he got the job, he was anticipating this happening at the trading deadline and was preparing himself throughout the time he's been here for this. And everybody that's here on the roster right now has been here before, so it's not a completely different look to some of these young players. And in all honesty, some of them aren't that young, just inexperienced. And he's right. I mean, he's going to have to get contributions from Peterson and guys like Herrera and Schaefer. If not, they'll get somebody else that will.
Lind lines out. Chris Davis now, who singled his last time up, takes a strike. By the way, did you get a listen of the junior announcer right there?
Awesome job.
That was
talk
impressive.
about some feeling. I mean, he was into it.
Totally into it.
What's your line? You can't teach people to care.
You can't teach them to care.
That was awesome.
And that kid cares. Every night in the bottom of the 4th here at Miller Park, they allow a kid to call out the first 3 hitters. Make the PA announcement. Gives Rob Edwards a moment of reflection. The fantastic public address announcer here at Miller Park. I mean, everybody deserves a break at some point. Two balls and a strike. Davis a swing and a miss. 2-2 now. Chris with an opposite field single his last time up. The Brewers have 3 hits, one of them a home run by Braun, trailing 2-1. Got him. Out number 2.
Next batter, number 35, Shane Peterson.
That's awesome. That was great. Oh, he's got to come back.
Yeah. Giving Rob Edwards a run for his money, isn't he?
Keep him going here in the 4th.
That was great. Good job, young man.
Star is born. 2 outs in the inning. And Peterson lines one to left, to base hit. Inspired by that announcement. Comes up with his first hit of the night.
Rob Edwards, I'd imagine, a little intimidated coming out. He's going to bark out the next name. It's Gene Segura.
Classic. I mean, there's the new school and then the old school, right?
Yeah.
I'm good with both. Here is Segura, as announced by Rob Edwards, with a runner at first. Brewers down a run. They've equaled the Cubs in the hit column. You can't beat fun at the old ballpark, right? Is that how it goes?
Yeah. Where else would you rather be right now, honestly? Answer.
Nowhere.
Nowhere. Okay. You had to think about it?
No, not at all. I didn't know it was. I didn't know you were asking me. I thought it might have been a rhetorical question. Or
I was looking at you.
Just in general for the audience. Kind of a statement in the version of a question. It's like if I was to say, isn't this a great night?
I would say, yeah, it is. It's like the people you pass in the hallway every day that never look at you, never say hello. I don't get that.
That does not happen to you, by the way.
I say hello to everybody.
Right. And everybody says hello to you.
If I don't know their name, I give them a chief or how you doing, pal, that type of thing.
Chief them. Even when people call you Gorman Thomas, you acknowledge it.
Very gracious.
Speaking of, Gorman's got a new barbecue sauce, by the way. Did you catch that?
You know what? Last homestand, he told me he's going to send some up.
He hasn't sent any up?
No, he hasn't.
Well, he's no longer being promoted then.
So don't even mention it.
Okay.
Until we get some.
Consider it done. That's an advisory to you, Big Spike. There goes the runner, Peterson. Segura in the air to right. That'll be playable for Soler. And that will retire the side. 2-1. Cubs lead the Brewers behind Jason Hamill. 4 in the books at Miller Park.
By Brewers Chief Operating Officer Rick Schlesinger. And Rick, wrapping up the trade deadline, losing 5 players. It's a very busy time for the marketing department as well.
Right, and Doug was very busy, but, you know, we kept taking Gomez's banners down, then putting him back up, and then taking him down all in the span of like 12 hours. I said, Doug, you know, trade him once, but let's make a decision here. But it's all good. I mean, I think we obviously needed to do some moves, and I'm really pretty pleased with some of the players we got back.
An 11-game homestand here, plenty to give away. We've got 2 free shirt Fridays, and we've got 2 bobbleheads. And on Sunday, we've got the Matt Garza Gnome, and then the following Sunday on the 9th, we've got Bob Uecker's statue. So fans not coming away empty-handed this week.
Right. Well, we know Bob Uecker's not being traded, so regardless, you know, you always worry about a guy being traded on his bobblehead night or something like that, but we don't have to worry about Bob being traded. So, you know, great tickets are still available. Tomorrow's going to be pretty much sold out. Sunday for the Matt Garza Gnome, his tickets are available. And obviously tickets available for next weekend's series as well.
Well, as long as Bob Uecker isn't being traded, then we're all good here, guys. So there's plenty of reasons for fans to continue to come out. Again, the Garza Gnome on Sunday and Bob Uecker's bobblehead the following Sunday on August 9th.
All right, looks good. Thanks to Sophia. Thanks to Rick. Right off the end of the bat, Addison Russell dumps one into left center field. Very similar to the Rizzo hit. Addison Russell with his first hit of the night, and the Cubs have their leadoff man aboard. First hit for Russell.
A curveball that Youngman left up in the strike zone. That was actually an 0-2 pitch. You're going to throw that curveball in 2. Make sure you get it in the dirt. And it was right down the middle up, and Russell able to muscle it into center field.
Top of the order here is Dexter Fowler. Takes a strike. Fowler has struck out twice tonight. Brewers got a run in the first on a home run by Braun. That came with 2 outs, and then the Cubs answered with a run in the second. Starlin Castro drove in a run with 1 out. He drove in Bryant. 2 hits in that inning. And then it was Castro again on a fielder's choice with runners at first and third to plate the second run. Rizzo scored the second run. Youngman has 5 strikeouts, has given up 5 hits, and he's walked 1.
Yeah, 5 hits, all singles. And not a lot of them hit all that hard. A lot of off the end of the bats, a couple of jam shots. Been pitching well.
Fowler showing bunt, takes a ball. Cubs acquiring 2 pitchers today. Tommy Hunter from the Orioles, Dan Herron from the Marlins. Herron pitched last night, and Madden's going to put him into the rotation. Most likely he'll pitch for the Cubs in Pittsburgh. Looks like Tuesday right now. Could change. There's a strike.
And he's got Dexter Fowler scratching his head. He's not sure what's coming next.
Fowler struck out looking on a fastball in the first. Struck out swinging in the third inning. Misses high. He didn't chase it. Fowler's been walking a ton here lately. Month of July, Dexter Fowler has 21 walks. 16 of those coming since the All-Star break. He is looking the part of a leadoff hitter. His on-base percentage is about 90 points higher than his batting average. That's pretty strong. So if he hits a little better, gets that batting average up into the 250, 260 range, then you're golden.
Yeah.
For an on-base percentage.
Especially a guy that can run like he can. He's got 16 stolen bases.
A check on Russell.
You figure normally you would think that Russell would be running, but he's only has 1 stolen base this year. He's 1 for 4. This would be a situation where you would send Russell on a 3-2 count.
Full count. He stays put, and a ground ball to second. Jeanette 2 second for 1, and that's all they'll get. Fowler runs well. Segura wise to free himself from the oncoming Addison Russell. The Brewers get the lead out at second base. 1 gone here in the 5th. Good pitch by Youngman, getting in on the hands of Fowler.
And he's been staying hard on his hands. He's been working both sides of the plate pretty well on Fowler. Now that pitch up, and he jammed himself.
Here is Kyle Schwarber. A couple of fly ball outs to center field. 0 for 2 tonight. Schwarber played his college ball at Indiana, drafted last season, and already here in the big leagues. He and Michael Conforto, top 2 hitters out of the draft last year, those that played college ball. Conforto is now up with the Mets, playing left field. Close play over at first base. Schwarber went number 4 overall. Brady Aiken was the first pick overall last year. Kind of a mess with the Houston Astros and Aiken.
Big swing by Schwarber. Had a cut, fouls it back.
Yeah, good one to hit. Pitch around the belt and had a good swing at it. Fouled it straight back. That's that awkward delivery that Taylor Youngman gives you. Just keeps you off the barrel of the bat.
One ball, one strike. Cubs 2-hole hitters. Schwarber, another big hack. Comes up empty this time on a fastball. It's 1-2. Schwarber played in the Futures game this year. And then was called back up to the big leagues shortly thereafter. Cubs still have Miguel Montero on the disabled list. He's on his way back. Has a thumb injury that he's coming back from. David Ross is the other catcher. Joe Madden used Schwarber in left field last night. Started him in left. He finished the game behind the plate. But for an offense that is struggling, Schwarber's bat has kept him in the lineup. It will be interesting, though, when Montero returns, what the Cubs do. It'd be hard to send Schwarber out at this point. He's been so good offensively for him.
Yeah, Cubs have 3 catchers right on their roster right now. Taylor Teagarden, he's a catcher, and David Ross. So they have 4 guys on their bench, 2 of them catchers.
There's David Ross, started last night. Schwarber got called up June 16th. He was sent down a week later, and then he got called back up July 16th. After the All-Star break, and he replaced the injured Montero. Two-two to Schwarber. Runner at first, 1 away, and a check on him. It's a real interesting stat on Schwarber. His first 18 hits as a big leaguer were on the road. Kind of an interesting little nugget.
Yeah.
First Cubs player to do that since at least 1914. Little half swing, he goes, and Youngman strikes him out. The second out of the inning. Youngman has 6 Ks.
Yeah, Schwarber had some pretty good pitches to hit, particularly the first 2 strikes that Youngman threw to him were pretty much right down the middle of the plate. That one right on the inside corner, much better located. You see those 2 pitches right there in the crosshairs in that box. Those were the 2 pitches that he missed. First 18 hits. Wow.
Tells you 2 things. One, he can hit because he's getting a lot of hits, and he can hit in a tough environment, in a road environment, which is impressive for a rookie. There's a spinner, misses outside to Coughlin. Biggest question for the Cubs: can all of these great young talented players contribute, perform in a pennant race, especially that final month of the year in September?
Right, not used to playing in September in the minor leagues. Much different, the intensity much greater.
They call it the rookie wall.
Yeah, 4 rookies in the starting lineup for the Cubs. That's a lot.
There's one of them, Bryant. Maybe the best of the bunch. An all-star this year. Ball and a strike on Coughlin, and they throw to first. All these rookies, all they got to do is have a chat with Chris Coughlin. He can tell you about the trials and tribulations. He was the rookie of the year with the Marlins, and then his career looked like it was headed for disaster, but then ends up with the Cubs, and he's been able to resurrect it. He's played well for him last couple of years. Coughlin said he got into a bad place. He blew right through the Marlins minor league system. Had a lot of success in his first year in the big leagues. Won that Rookie of the Year award and then just stopped putting in the effort. In the left, and Davis can't get it. Tries to dive for it. Does keep the ball in front. And that'll be a double for Chris Coughlin.
Yeah, that's a good play by Chris Davis right there. Not a bad effort, but once you realize you can't catch it, do not let it get by you. And he's able to save a run. Another little jam shot. You know, Taylor Youngman not having all that much luck tonight, and this is a good effort by Davis just to knock it down and keep Dexter Fowler at third base. Not sure where it was. He was able to find it, and the Cubs have runners at second and third. A lot of jam shot hits, a lot of hits off the end of the bat, but they all count. First extra base hit off of Youngman tonight.
So second and third, 2 away, and Craig Counsell taking no chances with Anthony Rizzo. And that sets the stage for Chris Bryant. This is why Chris Bryant is so important to the Cubs. Joe Maddon needs a big bat behind Rizzo. Rizzo's going to continue to be walked. He's just been too good this year not to take a chance like this, especially with a base open.
All right.
His 6th intentional walk. Rizzo's 51st walk of the season.
Well, and you walk Anthony Rizzo and you bring to the plate a guy that leads the team in RBIs with 60. So in situations like this where they've been careful with Rizzo, Bryant more times than not has been able to deliver.
Well, Rizzo in the top 10 in the league in walks. That'll load the bases for Chris Bryant, and here comes the biggest moment of the ball game so far. We're only in the 5th inning, and Youngman facing Bryant with the bases full of Cubs. Bryant walked and scored in the 2nd. Youngman struck him out in the 4th. Fowler, Coughlin, Rizzo. Fowler reaching on a fielder's choice. And a swing and a miss. 92. Youngman's been as fast as 95 here tonight. 1 ball, 1 strike. Yeah, right down the middle, and Bryant fouls it away.
Yeah, 2 in a row right down the middle. It's that delivery, that awkward herky-jerky delivery, and I mean literally like a bullseye right down the middle of the plate. See if he goes to that 2-seamer down and in. That's the pitch that Nelson struck him out on last night.
And Youngman struck him out on that down and in fastball in his last at bat. Borderline pitch. Taylor got the call. And Lucroy for the 3rd time going through the sequence here, and now he's on his way out. I don't know if Youngman, if he's not seeing the signals or he's not getting what he wants.
No, I don't think that they're together on what he wants to throw. Now he's been leaving his curveball up in his zone quite a bit, and a lot of them have ended up in the outfield. They haven't hit it all that hard, but you know, a lot of curveballs have been up, have been dumped into the outfield for hits. And if I'm Jonathan Lucroy, I tell him, hey, I want that 2-seamer you gave him last time up. He's had a problem with that pitch in this series.
See what he gives him. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Cubs have him loaded. 2 outs. And a roller to third base. To the bag and close. Out. Barely. Elian Herrera racing Coughlin to the bag. He just gets him, and Youngman retires Bryant to end the inning. The Cubs strand the bases loaded. How close was it? Herrera and Coughlin A race to the bag by that much.
What a job by Taylor Youngman. Continues to get big outs when he needs them most. Bases loaded, one of the best in the business, and the RBI leader. He started him out with a curveball off the plate, then he goes right after him. Fastballs right down the middle, throwing it right by Chris Bryant. I mean, both of those pitches literally down the middle. Then he gets him on a curveball. It was up, but it was away. Bryant tried to pull it, and Herrera beat Coughlin to third base. So good job again by Taylor Youngman.
And Youngman will bat third, or bat second in this inning, I should say. Herrera leads off. Could see a little panic setting in with Herrera. He started his way to third base. Has a long throw to first. You know, that's a touch out of the routine for a third baseman, but he decided to go the easy way. And Coughlin, give him credit, he was busting it from second base, and he made it close.
I think if Herrera had it through over again, he might have charged that baseball a little bit.
Yeah, I think you're right.
He laid back on it and almost did not get the out.
The switch hitter, Elian Herrera.
Yeah, he's behind the bag. He just goes over. He doesn't really charge it a whole lot. I mean, he just waits back on it and still able to get the out, but had a little bit of sweat going in doing it.
That's a big play. Youngman stranding the bases loaded, so the game still 2-1 Cubs as we play in the bottom of the fifth inning. Youngman will bat here in this fifth, and then the top of the order. 8, 9, and 1 coming up. Jason Hamill has surrendered just the 1 run. That was a 2-out, 2-strike home run by Ryan Braun. First inning.
The Brewers haven't had a man at second base since. Typical Jason Hamill against Milwaukee. He's never lost to the Brewers. 6-0.
And right off Hamill's glove, he recovers. The throw is in time. Herrera retired.
Hey, you can see the Goo Goo Dolls perform a free post-game concert at Miller Park on Saturday, August 15th. After the Brewers face off against the Phillies at 6 o'clock, go to brewers.com/concerts to reserve your spot today.
The last of the concert series.
I was informed by the wife that we are attending that concert.
The wife?
Kate.
And does that mean you're going to have a Schroeder party in the Wall of Honor booth, the Bill Schroeder television booth?
I haven't decided yet.
I know you're a big Goo Goo Doll fan, and that'll be good.
Well, we were talking about it, last night, and I mentioned that the Goo Goo Dolls were going to be here. So, we're going.
Oh, nice.
I would hope that you and your family will attend.
Well, I'm waiting for the invite. Youngman sends one deep to right. That's over the head of Soler. Extra bases for Taylor Youngman. He's got a double. 2 for 2 tonight, the Brewer pitcher.
Well, dumps one in front of Soler his first time up, and then drives one over his head the second time up. So Soler, after the first hit, probably moved in a little bit. And look at Youngman swinging. Not only does he get hits, but he drops down bunts. He's been very good at the plate this year. First extra base hit for Taylor Youngman.
Well, Youngman with 2 of the 5 Brewers hits. He's in scoring position. The tying run for Scooter Gennett. Yep, Youngman says that's 2. That's 2 tonight. First extra base hit for Taylor Youngman. Scooter Gennett trying to drive him in now. And a wave and a miss.
And Jimmy Nelson almost got an extra base hit last night with the bases loaded. Great play by Fowler in center. So Brewers pitchers have tried to help themselves in this series.
Yeah, that could have changed the game last night. Cubs had a comeback win last night. And that play by Fowler, you know, you're figuring, all right, that's the pitcher. Brewers strand the bases loaded. But then as you look back on the game, that was one of the big moments of the game. Over the shoulder catch.
Yeah.
On a dead run.
And playing about as shallow as he is right now for Scooter Gennett. I mean, Fowler plays shallow, but he's really shallow for Scooter here. They're not figuring Scooter Gennett to find that right center field gap.
There's a confident defensive outfielder when you see him playing that shallow. Andrew Jones used to play shallow like that. The great Gold Glove center fielder of the Braves. Devon White. Gennett pulls one through the hole. A base hit. Now do they send Youngman? No, they'll hold him up. Soler's got a big arm.
Yeah, no chance.
And your starting pitcher running the bases. So Ed Cedar with 1 out holds him up. First and third. Gennett delivers with his first hit of the night, and the Brewers in business here in the 5th inning.
Yeah, plus you got Lucroy Braun Lynn coming up. That's a good piece of hitting by Gennett. That's a pitch that gives him a lot of problems, that down and in breaking ball. Able to center on it, and Taylor Youngman lumbering to third base.
Here is Lucroy. Lined out his last time up. Little soft liner that Coughlin made a beautiful diving catch on. Grounded out his first time up. Lucroy's 0 for 2. Coughlin took a hit away, maybe an extra base hit away from Lucroy. It's a big spot for the Brewers. Youngman stranding the bases loaded in the top of this 5th inning, and now a chance for the Brewers to tie or take the lead possibly. Tying run 90 feet away in Youngman. Hamill's given up 6 hits, but only 1 run thus far. Lucroy to short. Castro to Russell. He turns it in time. Double play. And the inning is over. Hamill gets the ground ball he was looking for. We go to the 6th. presented by Toyota. Beautiful moon. A full moon. Top of the 6th inning. 2-1. Cubs have the lead. And a reminder here that Fox Sports Wisconsin has been giving away great prizes during every Brewers broadcast this month. This is your last chance to win. Prizes include Brewers merchandise, Miller Park tours, autographed merchandise, and more. And here's tonight's Watch 'em and Win 'em sweepstakes image. Log on to foxsportswisconsin.com. Click on the Watch 'em and Win 'em banner on the homepage to enter. That is a full moon, isn't it, Rock?
It is. Today's a full moon. It's a blue moon. Second full moon in July.
Is that what a blue moon is?
Yeah.
When it's the second one?
Of the month. Doesn't happen all that often.
I feel like we had this conversation last night.
We did.
Oh, I thought maybe it had a little deja vu there. Having a seizure or something.
But how can you not talk about a full moon? Isn't that
It's
nice?
beautiful.
It is.
We have
crazy things happen on a full moon.
Very expensive lenses on those cameras too that allow us to get a good close-up look at it.
And last night wasn't the moon right above the center field outside ballpark? And
I think at some point it was.
Where is it now?
It's coming. Youngman back on the mound. First ball swinging Soler, and there's a long throw, and Herrera throws it away. That goes into the dugout, and Soler will go to second base. Oh man, those are mistakes you can't make. Got an out right in front of him on the first pitch. Some high stress innings last inning for Youngman, and now a runner at second.
Yep, and now another leadoff base runner for the Cubs, a third consecutive inning. Wound it up and just airmailed it. You know, Lind able to get a glove on it. And that'll be a two-base error for Elian Herrera.
So the Cubs with a runner at second. Starlin Castro at the plate. He's driven in both Cubs runs here tonight. There's a strike. I was checking the Astros Diamondbacks score, checking in on Carlos Gomez. He's in the lineup tonight. He's 0 for 3. But Jason Castro, who hit the walk-off homer last night, he's hit another 3-run home run tonight. And the Astros lead it. That's 2 3-run homers the last 2 days for the catcher, the light-hitting catcher, Jason Castro.
They're all hitting home runs over there in Houston, aren't they?
Yeah, Astros have now taken the lead 4-1 over the Arizona Diamondbacks. That's an interleague matchup, by the way.
Yeah. Lead big leagues in homers. You had that figured in the beginning of the season, right?
Yeah. What a team they have. Hit call play at second, close, just back Soler. Also down in Texas, the Rangers playing the Giants in Arlington. And the Rangers hung a 6th spot on Madison Bumgarner tonight. Texas has the lead 6-2. That score is important for the Cubs. They are chasing or involved with the Giants in that wild card spot. There's a little liner. Oh, what a catch! Scooter Gennett lays out and takes a hit away from Castro.
Yeah, second really nice play that Scooter's made. He made a nice play in the hole early in the game. And a diving stab. He was shifted on Starlin Castro, but able to go to his left and make a nice diving catch. Now that's what you get for hitting the ball hard, right? His first 2 hits weren't hit all that hard. He hits that one on the nose, and Gennett with a great play to get the out.
And Castro upset. Outstanding effort by Gennett for the first out of the inning. Here's Hamill, the pitcher. He fouls it away. Right down the middle for a strike. 0-2 the count. Hamill is having his best year of his career as a hitter. He's been in the National League with the Rockies, but his 8 hits is a career high for a season. Had 7 one year with Colorado. So he's respectable at the plate this year. He's hitting 186. You can tell he's worked at it. And a lot of pitchers, they love to hit, go out for batting practice. But the smart ones, especially the guys like Hamill who want to stay in a game, you can really help your cause. Get the bunts down and be able to produce occasionally. Taylor Youngman has 2 hits tonight. There's a wave and a miss. Youngman not messing around with Hamill. He threw him a big breaking ball.
They don't throw those in batting practice.
Good point. Strikeout number 7 for Youngman. Carsoup.com trivia. Jaime Navarro led the Brewers with 17 wins in 92. Who had the second most wins on the team? So we're taking you back to 92. Second most wins to Navarro. Got to be a Cub connection there.
Was he in the ballpark? I would imagine.
Two outs. Here's Russell. Soler still at second base. Reached on a 2-base error. Throwing error by Herrera. And Youngman in a 1-1 count. Youngman working in the 6th. 2 runs thus far on 6 hits. Russell swing and a miss. He took a rip. 1-2 the count.
And 92 was some very good movement on it going down and in. When he came up, he didn't have that kind of movement. Pretty straight fastballs. He's always able to keep them down, but boy, is that 2-seam fastball he's come up with. That's a good pitch.
1 ball, 2 strikes. That curveball again. This time Russell able to lay off. Good block back there by Lucroy. Keeps the runner at second base.
Well, you know he's still burned up about hitting into that double play, but you can help your team by getting the job done defensively, and Lucroy does that for you every night.
Two and 2 on Addison Russell. Skipped in again. Lucroy picks the fastball this time. Full count. There is a base open at first, but the top of the order is coming up. Dexter Fowler. Youngman trying to get the Brewers to the plate. Down only 1. Stranded the bases loaded last inning. Cubs have a runner at second. And he's been there since the start of the inning. First batter of the inning, as a matter of fact. Payoff pitch. In the air, center field. That's going to fall. Base hit. And coming in to score is Soler. A flare falls for a base hit. And the Cubs lead 3-1.
Yeah, so the unearned run gives the Cubs a 2-run lead. Should have been out of the inning. Well, the error to start the inning comes around to score. And once again, not a very hard hit ball ends up in the outfield, and Cubs with another run right off the end of the bat.
The Cubs have been able to find a few hits just like that here tonight. That's a big one. That's going to chase Youngman from the game. Pitch count is high. 112 pitches. Counsell was hoping to get him through it. Could not. Youngman will exit 5 2/3 innings. Got a runner his responsibility at first. We'll take a break. A pitching change at Miller Park. By Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. And by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. Well, tough luck outing for Taylor Youngman. He has allowed 3 runs, 2 earned. There's still a runner his responsibility. Ton of pitches tonight. The most he's thrown at the big league level, 112. And it's only the second time since he's been in the big leagues. In his 10 starts, he has not been able to go at least 6. But he pitched well tonight.
Yes, he did.
A lot of flares that fall. Kind of a bad luck night for Youngman. And now Neil Kotz is on to try to finish off the inning with a runner at first and 2 away.
Yeah, Kotz had a rough start to his season, but lately he's been terrific. A .340 earned run average. Last pitched on Monday against the Giants in San Francisco. Struck out the only batter that he faced. Has been unscored upon in 22 of his last 24 games. Giving up 3 runs in that span in 23 2/3 innings. That's good for a 114 earned run average.
Dexter Fowler turns around, hits right-handed. And a swing and a miss. Fowler's been a much better hitter as a right-handed hitter this year. He's hitting .329 right-handed. Just .221 as a left-handed hitter against right-handed pitching. There's a strike. 1-2 the count. Jonathan Broxton traded to the Cardinals. So Kotz will start to fill a more leverage role, you would think. And certainly a guy that Counsell is entrusted to go full innings. He's not just a matchup pitcher. Although if you were in a pennant race and you started to go in that direction, he could be. He still might be. The waiver period trading ends at the end of August, so we still could have some trades.
And Brewers added 2 pitchers in their bullpen today. Tyler Thornburg back. He's in the pen. And Preston Gilman is here. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah. Brewers got him from the Dodgers. They claimed him off waivers. Gilmet. There goes a runner, and the pitch is down and in. Throw to second is late. Good jump and a stolen base for Addison Russell. That was going to be tough for Lucroy to throw him out no matter what.
He got a good jump and a tough pitch to throw on. Not a very huge leap, but a good jump, and Lucroy's throw right on the money, but a little bit late.
Full count. 3-2 pitch is swung on and missed. Fowler strikes out for the 3rd time. Cubs get a big run. They lead 3-1 now. We head to the home 6th. Ryan Braun will lead off for Milwaukee. Cubs and Brewers, the series sponsorship presented by Toyota, 3-1 Chicago. As we head to the bottom of the 6th inning, Ryan Braun will lead off, responsible for the only home run, the only run of the night. And we were talking about Braun and Rizzo and the styles at the plate.
Look at the hand. Look at the difference where the hands are for both of these guys. I guess I can't draw with 2 different lines. There's Braun. I can only draw one line at a time, I guess. Rizzo had the hands right on the inside corner. Braun way off the inside corner. It gives you a good idea where these guys like the baseball.
It is effective for both all-star teammates this year, Braun and Rizzo. Rizzo has been an all-star twice. Braun made his 6th all-star team. No Brewer has made more all-star teams than Ryan Braun as a member of the Brewers. A late ad. Matt Holliday was injured. Holliday's out for the season now. And Braun chased one here. Down he goes. One away, a strikeout for Jason Hamill. 4 Ks for Hamill. Here comes Lind. Powerball home run leaderboard. Lind with 16. Braun hit number 19 tonight. Brewers got to get their offense untracked here. They've been struggling to finish out this month of July.
Yeah, got a new cast of characters. They're going to have to carry the load. I mean, big run producers have been traded. A lot of pressure on Braun and Lind right now. And Lucroy.
No Ramirez, no Gomez, no Parra. Those are 3 big bats that are playing elsewhere for contenders.
Yeah, but in all honesty, over the last week, the team has been struggling to score runs with them in the lineup. You just got to figure out ways to win games, and that's what's expected. You come to the ballpark, no matter what the roster looks like, you go out there and try to win a game, and everybody's going to have to contribute. You ask Craig Counsell, what's your goal at this point in the season? That's to win every game. Doesn't change no matter who's out there. You know, what trades have been made. You got to go out there and compete. Just makes it a little bit more difficult for the Brewers manager.
Hitters count for Lind. Fouls it away. By the way, Baltimore is hosting Detroit tonight. Parra was in Baltimore in time for the game. He wasn't in the starting lineup, but is available. They're in the 8th inning there. Baltimore has an 8-7 lead over the Tigers, who traded Cespedes to the Mets today. That was the big trade from the Mets perspective. Lind into center field, routine for Fowler, and there is out number 2. Parra has not played in that game yet. Probably see him in the lineup tomorrow. Chris Davis at the plate. Single to right in the 2nd inning. Struck out in the 4th. He's 1 out of 2. Brewers down 2. Crew have been knocking on the door quite a bit. 6 hits in this game through the first 5 innings, but have been unable to score. They've stranded 4. Key double play last inning off the bat of Lucroy. Brewers had him at the corners with 1 out. Down a run. Hamill's got a little playoff experience. Made it into the postseason with Oakland last year, and a postseason start for the Colorado Rockies. And the Cubs are hoping he gets a postseason start this year. He's never been in this kind of position for a contender, meaning he's the top 3 starter. They got John Lester, Jake Arrieta, who pitched last night. Arrieta's maybe stuff-wise their ace, numbers-wise. Lester's going to be, I would imagine, their number 1. But that's a pretty good big 3 to have going down the stretch here. Hamill's no young guy by any stretch. He's 32, but he's putting together one of his better years in the big leagues.
He just hasn't been able to pick up many wins. He's 5-5 in 19 starts. Good earned run average, 320. Ton of no decisions this year.
Best ERA he's ever had. It's 3.43. Did that with the Orioles back in 2012. He's made 3 starts in the postseason in his career. That one just missed. Davis draws the walk. 2-out walk here to Chris Davis. Will bring the tying run to the plate in Shane Peterson.
Yeah, first walk of the night, and that didn't miss by much. Well, it just did miss the outside corner.
Shane Peterson starting in center field for the first time in his big league career, his brief big league career. A swing and a miss. This is his 43rd game as a, make it 45th game as a major leaguer, 43rd as a Brewer. He has never homered in the big leagues. This would be a great spot for number 1. It would tie the game. 0-2 the count. Breaking ball.
Couple of good breaking pitches that time from Hamill to get ahead of him.
Peterson with a single his last time up, single to left field. He's a good opposite field hitter. There goes the runner, and the pitch is high and away. Throw to second. Safe at second base. Davis steals one. Picked a good pitch to throw on to the catcher Schwarber, but a low throw, and Davis is in there.
Had a good jump, not a very big lead, but a very poor throw by Schwarber. The catching core for the Cubs have not been throwing the ball all that well in this series. Some bad throws.
3 stolen bases yesterday against David Ross. 2 against Ross, 1 against Schwarber. 1-2 pitch now to Peterson, and he lays off. 2-2. Peterson was a Cub. The Brewers were able to acquire him via the Cubs. Claimed him on waivers this past offseason. Basically what that means, the Cubs had Peterson on their 40-man roster, took him off to make room for someone else, and at that moment you become available to all of the other teams, and the Brewers had done some scouting on him. They had seen him before, liked him, thought he could give the Brewers some outfield depth at AAA and then ultimately the big leagues. I don't think anybody expected for him to have this kind of year. He's really taken advantage of his opportunities.
He came up and nobody expected him to stick around, and the Brewers just have not been able to justify sending him out. It's been good, particularly good off the bench.
3-2 pitch is ball 4. How about that? From 0-2 to a walk. And now the tying run is on. Back-to-back walks issued by Hamill. And here comes Joe Madden.
103 pitches for Jason Hamill. Looks like that might be the end of the line for him. Well, so neither starting pitcher able to work through the 6th inning.
And Madden will take the ball from his starter. 3-1. Brewers trail the Cubs. Hamill exits. The Brewers have a shot here with 2 outs in the 6th. Game summary brought to you by Toyota. Ryan Braun put the Brewers on the board first tonight. A first inning home run that came with 2 outs. Starlin Castro then delivered the next 2 Cubs runs. That was a base hit in the 2nd to tie it, and then had a fielder's choice in the 4th that gave the Cubs the lead. And then a little flare by Russell, scoring Soler with 2 outs in the 6th inning. That chased Taylor Youngman. 3-1 Cubs. Here's Justin Grimm out of the Chicago bullpen.
Yeah, look at the punch outs. 40 strikeouts in just shy of 27 innings of work. A 169 earned run average. Fastball in the upper 90s, 96 miles an hour, and a slider to go with it.
Cubs got him in the Matt Garza deal a couple of years ago when they made a trade with the Rangers. See all these players acquired from different teams, prospects. What the Brewers are hoping to do with some of the prospects they acquired this year. Segura takes a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jason Hamill goes 5 2/3 innings. It was just a battle tonight for he and Youngman. Not a whole lot of runs on the board. Not a whole lot of hard hit balls either. Segura representing the go ahead run. 2 on, 2 out. Strike. 1 and 2. Fastball right there.
Segura thought it was low.
Fox Tracks had it right on the line. A strike. Should be anyway. Davis at second. Peterson at first. The 1-2, and it's down and away. 2-2. Segura is a good opposite field hitter. Tough out with 2 strikes. And he tries to send one that way, and that's going to end the inning. Schwarber threw it to first just for the fun of it. A strikeout to end it. The Brewers strand 2.
Again this season, the Brewers are teaming up with the State Fair to bring fans the Fair Days double play for just $15. You get a Brewers ticket and a general admission ticket to the Wisconsin State Fair presented by U.S. Cellular. For details, go to brewers.com/State Fair.
Oh, it's coming up. Great time of year, the State Fair. Head out there, get a few cream puffs, maybe 2 or 10. Work on the belt line.
A couple of ears of corn, corn dog.
Any kind of food on a stick will suffice. Kyle Schwarber will lead off for the Cubs. Neil Cott's back out there for his second inning. Came in relief of Youngman and was able to get the final out, a strikeout to Dexter Fowler. The Toronto Blue Jays beat the Royals again tonight. A walk-off by Josh Donaldson. Tulowitzki had 2 hits as well in that game. Donaldson drove in 4 runs. He had a walk-off hit in the 11th. And the Blue Jays have announced their presence of authority. They beat them last night behind Marco Estrada.
Johnny Cueto pitched tonight for the Royals. 6 innings, 3 earned runs for Johnny Cueto.
They got Cueto, they got Ben Zobrist, did Kansas City, and yet Toronto beat him. David Price arrived to the Blue Jays today from Detroit. Cole Hamels arrived to the Rangers today as well. He was in uniform tonight. That's kind of fun seeing all these players traded away, especially the big names, how they'll fare in their new cities, their new teams. Cole Hamels' last game as a Philly was a no-hitter. No-hit the Cubs last Saturday. A swing and a miss. Cott strikes out Schwarber. 2 batters faced, 2 strikeouts for Neil Cox.
He's starting to throw that slider, not starting to, but you know, after the month of April, he has been very good with that slider down in the strike zone. Been a difference maker for him. When you put it right here, and nobody's really going to hit it, that's a good pitch.
So 1 away for Chris Coghlan. This is a string of 3 straight lefties. And Joe Madden with a 3-1 lead. Comfortable leaving Coghlan in. That was the move yesterday.
Keep your defense strong with the lead.
Coghlan made a great catch earlier on Jonathan Lucroy. Robbed him of a hit. The same scenario presented itself yesterday, and Madden had a pinch hitter for Coghlan. Bouncing ball, slow roller to Jeanette, and he'll make the play for out number 2. As promised earlier in the game, Rock, the powers that be have selected the Data Strong fan photo of the game. That's it. Where's that, San Francisco?
Arizona, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, you're right. Arizona.
Yeah.
Look at Will Smith back there with a little photo bomb. So thanks, Michael. Good picture. Don't forget to tweet us your strongest fan photo, hashtag #WisDataStrongFan. You'll have a chance to be featured in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Rizzo takes a strike. He's got a hit tonight. He's walked. Singled and scored in the 4th. He's 1 for 2. Counsell intentionally walked him in the 5th. That ball's hit well. Rizzo will watch this one way back and gone. His second homer in as many games. That looked like a one-hander. Makes it 4-1 Cubs. Rizzo with number 19 on the season. 2 more hits tonight.
Yeah, both of his hits, home runs in this series have come on lefties. Or come against lefties. Will Smith last night and now Kotz. Well, check it out. Pitching him away and he's able to hook it out of here. He got under it but strong enough to muscle it out of here. Another big fly for Anthony Rizzo.
Well, his 8th inning home run last night was the difference maker. 3-run shot that gave the Cubs the lead. This one adds to their lead to make it 4-1. So strong. Aren't many hitters who can be off balance and have that kind of swing and still hit it with that kind of force.
Yeah, Lucroy was setting up away and Kotz missed his spot. Not a lot of margin for error with Anthony Rizzo.
He is a star. Everybody thought he would be that. He bounced around a little bit. Boston to San Diego and then to the Cubs. Followed Jed Hoyer a little bit, the general manager of the Cubs. Hoyer was with Theo Epstein in Boston, and Rizzo was one of their prize prospects, and Hoyer got the GM job in San Diego, and he got Rizzo and then ends up in Chicago and got Rizzo again. Inning is over. Anthony Rizzo, all-star first baseman, makes it 4-1 Cubs. Rizzo home run in the top of the 7th inning. Stretch time here at Miller Park on a beautiful Friday night. And our Carsoup.com trivia, Jaime Navarro led the Brewers with 17 wins in '92. Who had the second most wins on that team? Chris Bosio had 16. 16-6 for the Brew Crew. He authored a no-hitter as a member of the Seattle Mariners. A winning pitcher for the Brewers. He pitched here from '86 to '92. That year he won 16 was his last year. 67-62 career record as a Milwaukee Brewer and still a Wisconsin resident. Chris Bosio.
When he went to Seattle, threw a no-hitter.
Chris Bosio as a member of the Mariners. As the new pitcher Jason Mott facing Elian Herrera.
Yeah, one of the guys in Joe Madden's wheel of closers. He's got 6 saves this year. Good numbers for him. 340 earned run average. Doesn't have the strikeout totals that he used to when he was a member of the Cardinals. before his surgery. Now, Chris Bosio was telling a story about his no-hitter. He went out that particular game. It was against the Red Sox. And he said he was under the weather. He was feeling sick that day. He went out there. I think he said he walked the first 2 hitters. Pitching coach came out and said to Bob, "What's the matter?" And Bob said, "You tell me. You're the pitching coach." And he went on to throw a no-hitter.
There's a great story about Bosio when he was injured. He was trying to come back in '96. He was pitching for the Mariners. His career was coming to an end. He had all kind of arm problems and knee problems, and so he was on a minor league rehabilitation start in A-ball. And one of the things about the lower levels of the minor leagues, you don't get a spread. You know, there's no food after games. You kind of got to fend for yourself.
Leftover hot dogs, maybe.
Usually you get to Double-A, and that's when they start having post-game spreads, and they're not that great anyway. So anyway, he's pitching against a Single-A team, and he's on a minor league rehab start, and he sent word across to the other team. He said, "Okay, if anybody bunts," and he had a knee injury, that's what he was coming back from. Anybody tries to bunt their way on, the next one is in somebody's neck. No bunts, I'll buy the entire team pizza after the game.
Yeah. And that was true. He would have hit somebody in the neck.
just for the sport of it.
I mean, he had an edge to him when he was playing. I mean, when it was his day to pitch and he was out there, but don't cross him. And that's a good thing. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having that kind of an attitude.
Not at all.
But a good guy, good teammate, and as you mentioned, still lives in Wisconsin.
Herrera draws the walk.
A former fantasy camp coach.
So Mott comes in, walks the first batter. And that will bring up the pinch hitter, Logan Schaefer, returning to the big leagues tonight.
And I think when he was pitching to his team in fantasy camp, he said the same thing.
Anybody bunts on me,
next one's in the next guy's neck.
Yep. However, if you don't bunt, there's pizza in it for you. I mean, that's a tough call for an entire team.
Right.
He said nobody bunted, and he had to buy the pizza. And he actually came into the clubhouse to the opposing team, and they. This is what's great about Chris Bosio, right? I mean, here's a guy that these A-ball players are looking up to. He's been to the big leagues. He had thrown a no-hitter just a few years prior to that, and so he goes into the other clubhouse, buys them all pizza, sits down with them, answers questions about what it's like in the big leagues, and had a few spirits. And
good guy.
Yeah,
he really is. Yep.
That's what he's all about right there. That ball gets away. Mott's having a tough time. So he walks the first batter, moves him to second on a wild pitch. And Logan Schaefer a chance to drive in a run. The Brewers need to get going quickly here. They're down 3 with 9 outs to work with. These are going to be 2 important months for Logan Schaefer. He is getting a big opportunity. Gomez and Parra traded away. Schaefer's been waiting for a chance.
There's no question his defensive abilities. I mean, there's not too many better as far as tracking him down, and a good accurate throwing arm, and just his ability to hit. He hasn't been able to hit the big league level. Might get some consistent at bats in order to maybe change that perception here in the next 2 months.
Well, it's crunch time for Schaefer in his career. He's 28 years of age. He's older than Gerardo Parra. One ball, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. Down he goes. And Mott with his first out.
Still can run it up there. 96 in that last fastball. Up in the zone. Tough to get on top of that.
Here's Scooter Gennett. Not coming back from the Tommy John surgery. Got his velocity back. Not all the way back, but he's throwing hard again.
97, 98 before he got hurt.
Scooter Gennett with Herrera at second. A pop-up. And Bryant will give it a look. That will stay playable right at the rail. Bryant makes a catch for out number 2. Those will burn you up as a hitter.
Yeah, especially on the first pitch. 2 strikes, you can deal with it, just trying to protect the plate. But when you got the first pitch and you feel like you get a good one to hit, and you do that, not good. Nice play by Chris Bryant. He gets to the railing and realizes he has plenty of room, makes the catch.
Lucroy takes a strike. Lucroy had one of the key at-bats of the game. First and third, 1 out. He bounced into a double play. Hit it sharply to short. But a tailor-made double play for the Cubs, and Hamill was able to get out of it. Jason Hamill, the starter, is in line for the win. 5 2/3, 1 run. Grimm came in to finish off the 6th inning. Got a strikeout, and now Mott. Taylor Youngman on the hook for the loss. Did not pitch as bad as his line would indicate. His line's not even that bad, but he actually fared much, or didn't fare as well as what you'd think when you watch him pitch and the kind of batted balls the Cubs had here tonight.
Kind of reminded of the start he made against the Rockies. A lot of base hits like that in Colorado where he gave up 4 runs. Not a lot of hard hit balls, but they were able to find their way into the outfield.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Lucroy, a swing and a miss. Down he goes. Inning is over, and Mott puts up a 0 in the 7th. 4-1 Cubs. We go to the 8th. It is 4-1 Cubs as we head to the 8th. And the Brewers trying to avoid back-to-back losses. Need a comeback here tonight. A reminder, tomorrow, don't miss MLB Whip Around on Fox Sports 1. They got highlights, instant analysis, and live look-ins from around the league. MLB Whip Around is on tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central. Fox Sports 1 streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Here's Tyler Thornburg, just back to the big leagues. Spot open up for Thornburg. Another guy with an opportunity to reestablish himself in the big leagues. Was up earlier, pitched in 6 games. And he'll face Jorge Soler to start this 8th inning. 4-1 our score. The Cubs have single tallies in 4 different innings tonight. They tied it in the 2nd, took the lead in the 4th, added to it with runs in the 6th and the 7th. Rizzo is homered tonight. Starlin Castro with 2 runs batted in. And Addison Russell with the other RBI. Soler in the air to center for the first out. Now Thornburg at AAA Colorado Springs had an ERA over 5 in 17 games.
Had to change his number. Craig Counsell is now number 30. Now we're in 37. He got roughed up down in AAA. 17 games. 2-7 and a 5.28 earned run average. I guess you're not going to rip the number off the manager and grab it, right?
Happy to be wearing number 37 now, as long as it's in the big leagues. You got to take those AAA numbers with a grain of salt, especially the Brewers playing Colorado Springs. Taylor Youngman had an ERA over 6 in Colorado Springs before coming to the big leagues. So Youngman hoping for similar success. He's had success in the big leagues in the past. He's dealt with some elbow problems. Had to shut him down last year. Thought he might be headed for Tommy John surgery, but that was not the case. He was able to rehab the elbow. Didn't need surgery. A little half swing. He goes. A strike. Down he goes. Castro strikes out. Second out of the inning.
When Tyler Thornburg was dealing, and most of that came in the beginning part of the season last year. Great changeup. Curveball for strikes. He had a long stretch without allowing a base runner. There's a fastball up and in, and according to the first base umpire, he goes. Yep, he did.
Two away. Here is David Ross, pinch hitting. He started last night behind the plate. Veteran catcher. A little hook by Thornburg is in there for a strike.
Yeah, that's the pitch right there. Good one. That pitch might not work too well in Colorado Springs, the way the air is, right? I mean, it's like Denver.
I was talking to Logan Schaefer about Colorado Springs. He goes, man, it's just tough to play there. It's the same for both teams. But one thing Logan brought up, made an interesting point. The fatigue factor is there because you never really climatize to the high elevation. It's even higher than Denver. And, you know, you're there for maybe 6 or 8 games, and you leave, and you got to drink a lot of water, and it's just a weird sensation. Thornburg with a nice inning in his comeback. 3 up, 3 down with a couple of strikeouts. We're headed to the bottom of the 8th.
far here. The Brewers down 3 as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. We're getting set for Brewers Live postgame. As always, going to hear from Craig Counsell. See if the Brewers can crank up the offense a little bit tonight. So far, just Ryan Braun, a home run, and he's set to lead off the inning.
You know, it's going to be about doing the little things. You see a lot of guys in this offense. We're going to depend on each 7 balls. Do the little things you have to do to score runs. Getting on, getting them over, and getting them in.
Big boppers ready to go here. Braun, Lind, and Davis scheduled to bat. And again, Brewers Live postgame coming up in just a bit, B.A.
All right, Craig and Augie, thanks. Nice tie, Augie, by the way. Ball and glove tie to go with the ball and glove night.
The best. That's his favorite tie, you know.
David Ross will catch new battery for the Cubs. He is in after a pinch hit appearance, and Pedro Strop will pitch.
Augie didn't get the memo in the blue shirts.
It's okay. He's his own man. He's a left-hander.
You and I, Craig, light blue shirt. Got to get with the program, Augie.
Maybe we got to get with the program.
Yeah, right. Yeah, 50th appearance for Strop. We saw him in last night's ball game. A hard thrower, good breaking pitch. And back end of this Cubs bullpen's been pretty good.
And they're going to add to it, acquiring Tommy Hunter from the Orioles.
And Strop with 2 saves this year. 6 different pitchers in the bullpen have saves for the Cubs.
Oh, Brewers trying to do to the Cubs what they did to the Brewers last night. A late comeback. Brewers had a 2-0 lead going into the 8th last night. Nelson pitched the lights out last night. 7 shutout innings. Just 2 hits as Ross. No, the umpire, I believe. No, it was Ross. He took that in the worst place, and Hunter Wendelstedt immediately goes out.
There's a way to gracefully shake that one off, and he's doing the best he can.
Oh, I got him on the knee.
Right off the end of the knee. That's what I thought you meant.
Okay.
What were you talking about?
I wasn't sure. The way he went down.
Yeah, right off the end of the knee. I mean, it feels like, you know, you're never going to walk again, but it goes away very quickly.
So I guess there could be a worse place to get hit.
Yeah, right.
I don't want to oversell it. Look out. Oh, my goodness. Braun slaps one foul. Everybody's okay, but that went right off the screen of the railing. It's a good thing they put that netting in front of the dugout.
Yeah, Scooter went flying. He's doing his Nori Aoki impersonation, Brawny.
That was right at him. Nobody seems to care, but Scooter just saw his life flash in front of him. Might want to find a better spot to stand. Strop with a 1-2 count on Braun. Cubs are racking up the former Orioles right now. Strop's a former Oriole. Hamill, who started the game tonight, Jason Hamill. And now they get Tommy Hunter. Jake Arrieta pitched for the Orioles. So there'll be some familiar faces for Tommy Hunter when he arrives to Chicago or here to Milwaukee. Ground ball foul.
Orioles still in the hunt. Probably going to have to win the division if they're going to get to the postseason. But the Orioles 6 games behind the Yankees coming in tonight.
Now, right now in the American League, the wild card teams are the Angels and the Twins. Braun, line drive right to Russell for the out.
Good at bat by Brawny. Didn't have anything to show for it. Russell didn't have to move right at him.
One away in the 8th. Baltimore is just a game back in the wild card race in the American League. Toronto, who won tonight, they've won 4 in a row now. Blue Jays started the day a game back. Tampa Bay 3 games back. Texas is just 3 games back. They've won 3 straight. Playing the Giants tonight. That's what it looks like in the American League wild card race. Texas gets Cole Hamels, even though they're under 500. They feel like they've got a run in them. Decided to keep Gallardo. There's a lot of talk that the Rangers might move Gallardo. But they've got as good of a shot as anyone. That second wild card brings in a lot of teams.
Yeah. Twins lost again tonight. They're having a rough time.
Yeah, Minnesota lost 6-1. Taijuan Walker beat them. Beat Tommy Malone. That was a 1-hitter by the Mariners' fabulous right-hander, Taijuan Walker. He went the distance. Only hit was a Miguel Sano homer for the Twins. Rangers beat the Giants. They beat Madison Bumgarner tonight. So they stay hot. Lind on the ground. 2 outs. Baltimore hung on to beat Detroit tonight. Gerardo Parra did not play. We figure he'll be in the lineup tomorrow. Carlos Gomez did play for the Astros. Diamondbacks have come back in that game to tie it. It was 4-1 Houston. It's now 4-4 as they play in the 8th inning. Gomez hitting second tonight, playing center field. He's 0 for 4. What a rally by the Angels. And the man that Carlos Gomez thought he was traded for, Wilmer Flores of the Mets, just hit a walk-off home run in the 12th inning for the Mets. They beat Washington 2-1. Davis with a grounder to short. 3 up, 3 down for Pedro Strop. To the 9th we go. The Cubs are coming up. They lead by 3. Is presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Book your stay now. Cubs lead it. We head to the 9th inning. Addison Russell will lead off for Chicago. We'll be back at it tomorrow night. An hour earlier is start time. Brewers Cubs game 3 of this 4-game series. Our Miller Lite What's on Tap. Matt Garza on the mound tomorrow against his former club, Kyle Hendricks, who's given the Brewers fits in the past. Our Miller Lite What's on Tap. Note that airtime tomorrow, 5:30. Craig and Augie. Brewers live, and then first pitch right after 6 o'clock. Sophia Minute will have everything you need to know from the dugout and the clubhouse. Sophia's exhausted after a couple of days on the trade deadline beat.
Doing a great job. All over Miller Park has Sophia in the last couple of days. Tracking down the trades out at the point. Everywhere in between.
Here's the 3-1 and a swing and a foul away. There she is. Hard at work, digging up some nuggets for tomorrow, I'm guessing. She's not checking Instagram or, you know, nothing like that. I
think she had a hot dog down there she didn't want us to see.
She could give Kobayashi a run for his money. There's a Peterson to make the catch. Russell is retired. He's finishing with 2 hits tonight, 2 out of 4. No hot dogs tonight for Sophia. Just a trough of salad tonight. Salad night. Big fish fry in the booth before the game. Nice going.
Yeah.
Did you order that up?
That wasn't me.
Fowler in the shallow center field, and Peterson in and out of his glove. Fowler on his way to second. The throw, the tag, safe. That'll be a double for Dexter Fowler. Good effort by Peterson. Just couldn't secure the ball. It popped out.
Just got a bad break on it. I mean, a little inexperience in center field. Ball comes at you a little bit differently. Outfielders will tell you center field is a tough spot because the ball's coming right at you. You don't have real depth perception by the time he gets there. Not able to hold on to it. That ball should have been caught. It was in the glove, rolled right out, and that'll be a double, I think, for Dexter Fowler.
Well, it will be. And a close play at second base. Good throw from Peterson, but Fowler was just in there. Dexter Fowler has now reached base safely in 15 consecutive games. That was close, but the foot clearly in there, so no challenge. Brewers cannot afford to go down any more. They're down 4-1 with just 3 outs to play. Bottom of the order coming up. Here's Kristen Orphea pinch hitting. 1 out runner at second. On the ground to Segura. And on the first pitch, Denorfia grounds out. So 2 gone. Thornburg trying to go the final 2 innings here. He's been starting down in AAA. In 6 innings his last time out for the Sky Sox of Colorado Springs. And will occupy that long man status in the bullpen. Chris Coughlin with 2 away.
Yeah, that's the role that Thornburg had when he came out of spring training. He and Michael Blazek. Thornburg struggled a bit. He got sent down on April 22nd. First time he's been back.
Cubs have 9 hits tonight, scoring 4 runs. Youngman giving up 3 runs, 2 were earned in 5 2/3. Neil Kotz gave up a long home run to Rizzo. Two balls and a strike. Coming up for the Brewers, Peterson, Segura, Herrera. See what Thornburg gives him here. 2-2. Coughlin swinging at that high pitch, high fastball.
A 92-mile-an-hour fastball up in the zone, and Coughlin able to get a piece of it. Thornburg's throwing a couple of good curveballs tonight. Good changeup. See if he gives him the hook here.
Runner at third, 2 away. The 2-2 is high. Tried it, missed with it. When Thornburg was at the top of his game, and you could look back to the first half of last season, first 2 months especially, he was throwing hard. He was throwing 96, 97 miles an hour, consistently 95 plus. Didn't have quite that velocity. That one's up there. And Coughlin chased it again, and he is out, and we head to the bottom of the ninth. Brewers need 3 to tie. Might as well get 4. And they got Peterson leading off.
And there's another Miller Monday on tap at Miller Park as the Brewers welcome the San Diego Padres to town this coming Monday at 7 o'clock. All Terrace Reserve tickets are just $9, courtesy of Miller High Life. For tickets, visit brewers.com/highlife.
Changes for the Cubs. Denorfia in left field. He'll stay in after his pinch hit appearance. And Hector Rondon on the mound for Chicago. This is a save situation. 4-1 Cubs as we play in the bottom of the ninth. And a strike to Shane Peterson starting the inning. Rondon got his 14th save last night. He's had back-to-back games with saves. He's trying to make it 3 in a row. This game was tied until the Cubs took the lead in the 6th. And then they had those tack-on runs. I beg your pardon, took the lead in the 4th. And then tack-on runs in the 6th and the 7th.
Yeah, the run in the 6th was unearned. Inning started with an E5.
Shane Peterson into center field, a base hit. 2 hits and a walk tonight for Peterson. Just continues to swing the bat well. Yeah, good for him. Peterson had a breakout year, seized the opportunity with some playing time this year, and he's been able to stick in the big leagues.
Yeah, Rendon missed his spot. He left it middle in, and Shane Peterson able to bang it into center field. Leadoff base runner for the Crew.
That pushes Peterson's batting average over 300. He's hitting .303 now.
Stays on the ball nicely. He'll then try and pull it. Another guy that's thinking about home runs. Why would you? He doesn't hit many. A good solid stroke, able to get on top of that baseball.
Gene Segura. Segura tonight is 0 for 3. He struck out with 2 on in the 6th inning. That was a big out, big moment in the game. And he waves and misses. Tough night for Segura. Couple of Ks, 0 for 4. First out of the inning for Rendon.
Yeah, he can bring it. There's no question about that. Rendon with that big fastball. He's also got a cut fastball to go with it. And once in a while, he'll flip up a changeup. Not too often, though, not in save situations too much.
Herrera takes a ball. Elion is 0 for 2 with a walk. His first game back in the big leagues since early June. That was a sneaky little acquisition by the Cubs to get Rendon. That was one that paid off. And that one's into left center. It'll be run down. Denorfia makes a play for the second out. You never know when these moves pay off. The Cubs end up with a closer. Rendon was coming back from elbow surgery. And they claimed him off waivers from the Indians. That was in the Rule 5 draft, I should say. So he went unprotected off season prior to the 13 season. Cubs knew that they were going to have him for 2013, but in a bit of a rehab role, in a comeback role. Rendon pitched in 45 games in 13 that emerged as their closer last year. 29 saves. Perez pinch hits on the first pitch, grounds out, and the ball game is over. And the Chicago Cubs win it. 55-47 their record, and they pick up ground on the Giants in that wild card race. Anthony Rizzo homers for the second consecutive game. The winner is Hamill. He goes to 6-5. Rendon with his 3rd straight save, now 15 for the season. Taylor Youngman suffers the loss, 5-3. 4-1 the final. Craig Kishon standing by. It's time for Brewers Live. Take it away, Craig.
Okay, B.A., thanks very much. We're going to hear, of course, from Craig Counsell inside the clubhouse as well. See what the Brewers can do to get ready for tomorrow to try to get a win in this series and aim for a split before the weekend is up. Brewers Live is next.